Fired up. It's getting fired up. Okay,
Okay.
we're live.
Woo!
Welcome back to the Big Daddy Gun Studios. I'm Hank Strange. We are live, obviously, Big Daddy Gun Studios. We're in Gainesville. We have a special guest on the show tonight. This gentleman, Shane, the late Boy Scout.
What's up?
Joining
How y'all
us.
doing?
Good. Joining us live from Utah.
That's right.
And he's got some guns in the background.
I got a couple. Got some in
Yeah.
the background, some on the table, some
Yeah,
stuff for cutting things, and
exactly.
yeah, I'm here, man. I'm ready to go.
Right. So this is gonna be fun. So I'm gonna invite you guys right now. Hit us up with your questions here, and we'll try to answer as many questions from the late Boy Scout, myself. We'll talk about whatever. Obviously, we're gonna talk about guns and knives and stuff like that. But whatever you guys want to talk about, or whatever we feel like talking about, we will.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we will have that conversation. Don't forget to share this video out to your friends. Let them know that we're here. Let them know late Boy Scout is here and ready to answer. So before we do that, Scout, do you mind like telling the folks out there who've never heard of you? There's probably like at least one. So tell them who you are, how you started doing YouTube, man.
Yeah, sure. My name's Shane. I run the Late Boy Scout channel. I live here in Utah, and gosh, I guess as far as like content, it's guns. It's a lot of guns. At least this summer it has been.
Okay.
It's, a lot of knives. It's been a lot of knives over the years. It's been like 7, going on 8 years, I think, that I've been running the channel. So yeah, just guns and knives are kind of what I've been interested in for a good long while. Got into it sort of just before starting the YouTube channel, maybe a few years before starting the YouTube channel is when I sort of started getting into guns and knives and all that stuff. And I remember you and I had a conversation about that one time.
Right.
How one thing that you and I really have in common is that we're sort of both late to the gun lifestyle.
Right. Absolutely.
And so,
because usually people start this when they come out the womb, right? There's
right.
a lot of gun guys out there like that.
I fired my first 22 when I was, before I could walk. You hear a lot of those stories. That's awesome, but that wasn't me.
Right.
So it was much later in life that I kind of got into some of this stuff, or sort of got back into it, because I'd been in Boy Scouts and all that stuff as a kid, had exposure to some of this stuff, but none of it really stuck, and I didn't have time for it. Came from a big family, not a lot of money to go around, so we didn't have time for a lot of cool stuff like this. And so it wasn't until later in life that when I started having my own kids, and I'm like, they need to be exposed to some of this stuff, and I need to get the knowledge and the learning to be able to expose them to it as their father. And so that's kind of where it all began. And the YouTube channel sprang up from that a little while later. But yeah, it's been 7, 8 years now, and still having fun.
Yeah, and you're kicking butt out there, and that's where the name the Late Boy Scout comes from, right? I'm sure people ask you this all the time. I know I have before.
Yeah, what I just told you there is pretty much it. That's where it came about. That and also, you probably remember the movie The Last Boy Scout.
Yes, that's a Bruce Willis movie, right?
Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans, as I remember.
Right. Yes.
I don't know why, but that movie kind of had an impression on me when I was like in high school and stuff. And so when I was thinking about how to brand my channel, so to speak, that term kind of came to mind. But I thought The Last Boy Scout sounded a little pretentious. So I looked for other ways.
Yeah, because you will be hearing from the Boy Scouts, which is a lot of them.
Right. So I started thinking about other ways to use that. The Late Boy Scout came to mind, and it just made sense. And so that's what I stuck with. Yeah,
and that's a good movie too. That's like one of those kind of like a formula movie for Hollywood, right?
Sure.
Like a buddy kind of movie. And I think Bruce Willis was the cop, I guess, which has been used. And then Damon Wayans was what, like a criminal or?
Yeah, it was a little bit of
something.
I don't remember exactly what the dynamic was there, but it was something along those lines. Yeah.
It's a lot like 48 Hours, I think, and there's a few other movies.
Beverly Hills Cop maybe had a lot of that sort of formula to it. Some others like that, but yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're a movie guy. I talk to a lot of gun guys. You are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so am I. There's some gun guys out there that are too busy to be into movies, but I'm into movies, so that's something we could talk about. Have you seen any good movies lately? I talk to a lot of gun guys. You are, right? Yeah, so am I. There's some gun
Sorry, I got a little delay because I clicked on the video.
Oh yeah, you gotta mute it.
There we go.
That's cool. That's all right.
Yeah. What have I seen lately that I've enjoyed? Let's see. You know, I'm into the Marvel movies. A lot of people kind of diss on those because they're a little, I don't know. The studio that makes them is very, you know, progressive and all that stuff. Not really on the same political page as us, but at the same time, it's like I get that and I agree with that, and that's true. It's like, and that's kind of a sore spot for me. But at the same time, it's like I grew up with a lot of comic books, and so seeing a lot of that stuff come to life nowadays is like,
the technology is actually caught up. They've tried to do the superhero movie thing before.
Yeah.
And some, you know, some of it has been good considering the technology they had back in the 80s and early 90s. But nowadays, man, you could pretty much do anything.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, yes, there is a lot of programming in there where they're trying to brainwash us for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't make, they're still fun, though. There's still some of them that are enjoyable.
There's still a ton of fun. And you know what? You can look past a lot of, I can anyway. I can separate, you know, the actor from the art, and I can separate, you know, the studio even from the, you know, the characters, and I can do that in my head, and I can go, okay, this portion of it that sucks, and I don't like listening to that or whatever. But at the same time, it's like the whole thing in general is just fun to me, and so I enjoy it. But aside from that, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a ton of those sort of comic book style movies that I enjoy. But man, the John Wick movies, how about those?
Oh, those are awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, 1 and 2, man. I think 2 was just as badassery as, you know, like you would think. Okay, 2 is not going to be as good, but they stepped it up in 2.
They stepped it up.
What do you think?
I thought that number 1, it just kind of came out of nowhere and was just amazing.
Yeah.
And Keanu Reeves, I kind of have when I look at him as an actor, you know, I keep always going back to number 1, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and then number 2, Point Break, which was, you know, I am an FBI agent, that whole thing, the Johnny Utah character. So Keanu Reeves for me is like, I'm kind of on board with him as an actor, and sometimes kind of not, but the John Wick movies were great.
Yeah, I mean, well, Keanu he's matured, right? Keanu's matured over the years. He's like a very humble guy nowadays. I don't ever remember hearing him being like one of those messed up Hollywood dudes.
No, that's true. That is true.
So, and he's a nice guy, and he's been doing some serious training.
Tehran Tactical, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we did a gun fu video. I don't know if you've done any videos on it. Some gun guys have been doing stuff because it's cool.
Yeah.
What was your favorite gun scene in John Wick 1? I know mine. I'll tell mine first while you're thinking about it. That'll help you out.
Go ahead.
The scene that blows me away, there's a scene with a KSG.
Okay.
Yeah, where I think the bad guys had a KSG, and he somehow gets it from them, and they're running away, and he just tears the living shit out of those guys with a KSG, man. And you know, I mean, it's possible with a KSG, dude.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, that is one of the only shotguns where it actually behaves like movie shotguns behave. You know, just going.
Yeah, that scene is towards the end of the movie. I don't know how many, but to me, there's a lot of good scenes in there. There's a lot of good stuff in there that sticks out. But
yeah, I can't think of one in particular.
Because I have the KSG, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. I
know.
cannot think of one scene in particular from that.
What about 2?
From 2, some of the funniest stuff was towards the end when people just started popping up out of the woodworks to go after him. You know, you heard phones buzzing left and right and people all over the place. And it was a little bit you had to suspend disbelief in a sense because you're like, yeah, right. Like
but this is an alternate universe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everybody in New York is in reality a killer. Really? Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah, whatever. But you had to kind of jump past that, accept that first. But once you do, it was fun, you know, because it was like you saw him sort of jump from one killer to the next, to the next, to the next. But he was also like they kind of jumped between scenes, like so they would jump back a scene and forward a scene and back a scene and forward a scene and back a few scenes and forward a few scenes. And so that was kind of fun to see him like deal with one in bits and pieces. So those scenes were fun to watch. The big heavy guy that was like, he shot him like 8 times or something, then finally shot him in the head, but then he got up again. That guy.
Was that towards the end?
Yeah, it was towards the end. It was like a big Japanese guy or something. It was like massive sumo guy or something.
Oh yeah, I think yes. I don't know if that was in the mirror thing. I don't want to mess it up for anyone because I don't know if everyone's seen it yet.
Okay.
Was that in the museum?
No, it was like, it wasn't in the museum. It was outside, but it was like when it was right at the point when all the killers started coming after him at once.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yes. I do know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
This was like not in the subway, but on the streets or something like that.
Yeah, it was on the street. The dude like walked up to him and had like 2 chicks on his arm, and then
the dude, he looked like a superhero or something. Like, you know how there's superheroes in Marvel that are big fat dudes, but it's not really fat. It's supposed to be all muscle.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who was like that. There's a bunch of them.
The Blob. Well, no, not the Blob. Oh shoot, Kingpin.
Kingpin, yes. Kingpin was
like that. He was supposedly like that. Have you watched the Kingpin from Netflix? Or sorry,
so now here's here's the thing, man. I don't like the Netflix Marvel stuff.
No,
I don't.
Okay,
I don't.
I've
watched it, but there's two, like Daredevil, for example, just annoys me. I agree with what you said earlier that you have to suspend some of this, but Daredevil is just too annoying because you see dudes with guns in close quarters shooting at him and they're all missing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Arrow.
Okay. Yeah.
The one that I like the best out of the Marvel stuff is Legends. I want to say. Yeah, it's Legends. I think it's called.
That one's DC.
Okay. Oh well, there you go.
But yeah,
that's probably why.
my kids watch that one. I have not watched that one. To be honest, I don't really get into the DC stuff that much. I've watched like
excuse
me. I've watched Man of
Steel. You're hating on DC?
I'm not trying to hate on DC. I'm just telling you what I think, dude. It's like
I'm just trying to make trouble for you.
So like the Batman v Superman, I watched that. It was kind of lackluster to me, but I enjoyed it. I saw Wonder Woman with my wife. I thought that was pretty good.
Okay, I haven't seen Wonder Woman yet. I like the woman that plays Wonder Woman. I think she's attractive, but she's not like as good a Wonder Woman as I would like. She doesn't have enough muscles. I know she's a badass in real life and she does all kinds of crazy stuff and all that. She's probably a little bit too tall, so you don't see I won't want Wonder Woman I don't want her to be over muscled.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, but I want Wonder Woman to have like a little bit more muscle.
Yeah, like maybe some chick that goes to CrossFit or something.
Yeah, I want to feel like she can actually kick my ass.
Okay.
I want her to feel like a little bit dangerous. I'm not saying that chick, knows. I think I was reading about her. She really does some kind of martial arts and everything. So she could probably kick my ass if she has enough time in real life.
I didn't have any complaints about her. Gal Gadot, I think was her name.
Gal Gadot or something like that. She's attractive. She's been in a bunch of movies.
No, she's attractive, and she's I felt like it's just as far as presence was concerned, she's tall.
Yeah.
She's got a really good presence. And so for that, for me, that's kind of more key than her actual physique, even though the physique was pretty important given that she's a superhero.
Yeah. But you can't get perfection. I mean, you know what? Did you see the last Mission Impossible movie? I can't remember the name of the actress in there, but the one where she was riding motorcycles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm trying to remember
I can't remember her name right now, but she's got a little bit more muscle tone, but I'll tell you why. She's actually a little shorter. So that's the thing with Wonder Woman, I think. I think Gal Gadot has because Wonder Woman is supposed to be like a little tall.
Oh yeah, like she's an Amazon. They're supposed to be tall warriors, right?
Yeah.
But the girl from Mission Impossible, she's like Tom Cruise's height, and he's
Tom Cruise not a tall dude. So that's the thing, man. This is the balance that we have to have. But it looks like a good movie. I just haven't been to see it.
Yeah. Have you checked out Shooter TV series?
No, I haven't. Is that good?
Okay. Yes, it's very good. Okay, so I'm on Netflix. I've got that actually downloaded to my phone right now. I watch episode by episode every now and then. So did you see the original movie with Mark Wahlberg?
With Marky Mark, yes, I have seen that a few times.
Did you like it? You saw it a few times.
Yeah, it's not a bad Marky Mark movie. I think as time goes on, I can't take Marky Mark in movies, but that was probably the borderline of when I stopped being able to take him. So yes, I did see it. It was decent. I wasn't as deep into guns when that movie came out, so nowadays it might not.
Yeah. Okay, a word on Marky Mark. I like him better when he does comedy, number one.
Yeah, when they try to make him a super genius in Transformers, that's where they lose me.
Dude. Oh, Don't get me started on Transformers.
Yeah.
Okay, but so him with Will Ferrell on what is it? Daddy's Home was pretty hilarious.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's
and
funny.
then the one they did before that together, the name of it is escaping me right now.
They did something before that?
They did something before that. It's the one where Will Ferrell stomps on the gas and screams, "America!" You know.
Okay. You know what? I might have seen it, but I'm not.
It'll be in the comments. Somebody's gonna bring it up.
Yeah, someone's gonna hit. And by the way, someone's telling us that in the last Boy Scout, Wayans played a football player. He was a football player in that movie.
Okay.
I think Halle Berry was in that movie. That's like one of Halle Berry's first movies. Do you like Halle Berry? You think she's a hot chick?
Sure.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just gauging.
She was in the X-Men movies. I didn't think she was a good Storm. I'll tell you that.
No. Now, truth be told, I've never actually liked Halle Berry. You can ask Lola this.
Well, I think she's attractive, but do I like her as an actor?
She looks like a little. You know what the littles are? You ever seen? You should know about the littles. You're a nerd like me. I'm sure people are like, "What the hell are these dudes? These are supposed to be badass gun guys."
I know, right? Forget it.
The littles are these little. I think it started out in England, and there was a cartoon, but they've made movies. Mm-hmm. There's a movie I think with John Goodman, but these little tiny people. They look like a mix of people and rats or something, or mice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what Halle Berry reminds me of.
Kind of like the Who's from Whoville.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she's not attractive and all that, but I kind of got like real tired of Halle Berry. I'm more of an Angela Bassett type dude.
And she's the one that would have been perfect for Storm.
Yeah. I mean,
she would have been outstanding in that.
Yeah.
She would have
Angela Bassett could be Storm today.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Shooter. So we talked on Shooter for a second.
Yeah.
So the movie Shooter, I think I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was, spectacular. Like there were some parts of it I was like, that's kind of weak and whatever. But as far as the action, as far as the guns and stuff, it was fun. Now, when I heard that the TV series was coming out, when I started watching it on Netflix, I was like, got maybe half an hour into the first episode, and I'm like, okay, this is just going to be a rehashing of the movie. And I kind of took a break from it, but then I came back to that episode, finished it out, and realized that it was going to be a lot more than that. So I'm like, I think I'm almost done with the first.
So you're hooked.
Season. I'm hooked. Yeah, I'm totally hooked. Man, it's good.
One of the things with Marky Mark, or whenever you see these movies where they're playing special ops dudes and all that. Now I know there's lots of different shapes of special ops dudes, and there's some of them that are real big, like buff dudes. I find that those aren't the guys that always get into the action in real life. Okay. Because those guys I think a lot of times just have a lot of time on their hands, and they get to shoot up steroids and lift weights and get all big. The real badasses that I've actually met in real life are little tiny dudes that you would not even expect they could just cut you up 100 ways to sundown. Right. So
you put them in a suit and tie, and you wouldn't tell the difference between them and anybody else.
Yeah, so I kind of like that, but I know that's not real. Like that doesn't fit the Hollywood formula, right?
No, not at all. They all got to look like mercenaries.
Yeah, they all have to be super buffed up and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you also notice that they never look down their sights, right? like what do we have here? This is my new pistol build.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Cool. Let me lock it on you here.
It's an Anderson with a. Let's see. This is my newest, my only suppressor so far. It's the SRD 556 with the Subtac little cover on it.
Looks good. That's good. That keeps you from getting burned, right?
Yeah, that's the idea. So, and I'll go through some other stuff here in a minute if you want me to. But what they always seem to hold it kind of like this, right? They always they got to show their whole face, in order for it to work for movie. It's like
because of the angle. Yeah,
they do this, and it's like now they're obscuring their face, like they can actually see down their sight, but you can't see the actor, and so they never ever actually look down the sight.
Yeah,
which from the perspective of a gun guy is like, come on. But as somebody that appreciates movies, is like, I get it. I understand why they have to do that.
No, I do. And there's I'm from Guyana. I was born in Guyana, which is in South America. Okay. And there's an old saying for that. We say that's called picture like a picture.
Picture like a picture.
Yeah, so basically, back in the olden days, they used to call movies pictures. They were moving pictures.
Okay, sure, sure.
Yeah. So whenever you see this crazy stuff in a movie that's not real, my parents would just, because I would go like, Dad, you know, why is this guy doing all these flips and stuff? And you go, it's picture like a picture. So it just means like, hey, that's just movies.
That's movies. That's what
Get over it.
Movies are movies, man.
Yeah. So listen, let me the Tyven show, he's actually like donated $10.
Whoa.
So you can get our attention, which is pretty cool. He's donated this to the chat. He's a big supporter of what we do here. He wants to know, do either one of us carry a knife in our boot as backup? So this is a knife related question. I know it's probably a good segue to get us away from movies.
Sure.
We'll be in that for a while.
Yes, we will.
What is the, and we'll probably go back to that, but okay. So what's the answer to that for you?
So I dress for an office most every day. So I typically wear practical shoes, but not boots. I can't look, tactical when I'm going to work. I can't. So I have to be considerate of sort of my environment and the professional atmosphere that I have to work in. But I also try to be as practical as possible. So my shoes are very practical. I don't think I have them here. I kicked my shoes off upstairs.
Yeah.
But I wear Keens, and
yeah. See, so that's the same thing. Let me see if I can get my foot up there.
No, don't see it.
I can't.
Get it up behind your head.
Hold on a second.
Get it up there.
I doing this. Let me see. Can I get my foot up here in front of the camera? Okay, there we go. Keens. Okay.
Is that?
And and I got the long socks. I heard you're not supposed to have your socks long like this. It's so embarrassing. But no.
I keep hearing that too. My wife keeps telling me you got to wear the short socks. I just wear.
Yeah, I just found that out the other day, man. And Lola is still buying me long socks, but I was watching something, and it's like dudes aren't supposed to wear long socks anymore.
I don't care. I just wear long socks that come halfway up my calf, and it's like they're generally wool or something like that because they keep your feet cool when it's hot and warm when it's cold, and they're practical. I think of practicality. I don't really think about style that much. But back to the boot knife question.
So the boot thing. Right.
No, I do not keep a knife like a backup in my boot or shoe or anything like that. I'll always have a folding knife in my pocket, and I'll generally
should we show our EDC knives? Because I don't carry a boot knife either.
Okay,
Here's mine, so people can see.
Hey, that looks familiar.
Yeah, this is my
go ahead.
It's my Spyderco. Blah, 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 blah.
What's it called?
My Spyderco. Blah, 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 blah.
It's called the Paramilitary 2, man.
What is it?
Here's mine, Paramilitary 2.
Hold on a second. Let me lock it on you. Okay.
So this is actually the one I bought to replace that one that you're holding right now.
Right, because you gave me this.
I gave you that one, and then I said I need a new one, so I got this one.
Yeah, I need to get this engraved with late Boy Scout or something. I'm just gonna. I think you were telling me just call it the late Boy Scout because I can't remember, but you said it's the Paramilitary 2.
Paramilitary 2. Yes.
Very, very good knife, man. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Enjoy. So that's like, I think for me, I've got that as a knife on me. I know you probably have more, and then I have like this little blade here, and that's it. Basically.
Okay. All right.
That's all I got on me today. What do you got?
I'll have like, in addition to, let's see, today's knife was this one right here. This is a steel wheel cut jack. And so I'm always switching knives. So I've always got a ton of knives in a drawer, and I just kind of pick between which one I want to carry that day or which one I'm trying to, gear up to do a review on or whatever.
Yeah. If people don't know, you have like, I like your knife videos, man. Obviously I like your videos. I like the gun stuff, but you have some really detailed, cool knife videos, I think, for people out there. If you're interested in where to go to for knife stuff, go to Late Boy Scout.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I try to do a good job with that. That's one that I've been carrying a lot lately. This one I've been carrying a lot too. The UTX 85 from Microtech. It's like the scaled down 85% Ultratech. So I've been carrying this a lot lately. I like it. It's
okay, and that's like a auto deploying automatic.
Yeah. Okay. OTF out the front auto. So real nice. There's a lot. I mean, there's a ton of other ones that I carry. I kind of rotate between. I'll generally have that. My main pocket knife. Then I'll have like a Leatherman Squirt PS4, which has got a tiny little knife on it. Lately, I've been carrying this right here. This is the Klecker Stowaway Tools phone case.
Oh wow, I've never seen that before.
So I recently upgraded to the iPhone 6, and I'm always like 4
Wait,
generations.
I'm sorry. Wait,
Yeah,
did you just
exactly,
say? Did
exactly.
you just say the iPhone 6?
Yeah, exactly. I'm always like 4 generations behind, man. Always.
Okay, you're in a time
So
warp.
it's true. So I mean, people are like, "Hey, do this with your phone." I'm like, I don't have that one. I can't do that. No, but so this has got a bunch of little tools on the back here that you can pull out. There's like a wrench set right there,
Oh, that's
like
so cool, man.
scissors there,
What?
scissors right there, and then this has got a little folding knife in it right here.
Wow, that's cool. Can you hold that a little closer to the camera so we can?
Yeah,
Wow,
sure.
that's really cool, man. And so, and where does this come from?
Glenn Klecker made it. So Glenn Klecker is the knife designer that I believe he designed the Leatherman Wave, which is like their most popular Leatherman. And he started his own company doing a whole bunch of different things, makes his own knives, and this is one of his most recent sort of inventions. And so
Okay.
I got a hold of this year and a half, 2 years ago. I can't remember
So
exactly.
do they have that for people from the future that have like iPhone 7s?
I think they do. Yeah, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
okay.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that's
sure they
cool.
have the
I really
capability.
like that, man. That's cool. And does it probably comes in some different colors too, right?
I'm sure it does. Yeah, this is just the one they sent me to try out. So yeah.
Very nice. And it offers some protection.
The knife does not, well, protection for the phone for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yes. There's also like a little, because you can see that as I pull tools out of the back of there, it's like, that's metal. That's going on the back of your phone. Dude, you're scraping your phone as you put that in. No, they actually give you a little plastic film that you put on the back of your phone first, and then you slide that in. I feel like I'm doing an infomercial for Collector right now. I'm
Yeah.
not.
No, that's
He
cool.
totally didn't pay me to put this on here. He just gave me the
No,
case.
but that was cool. I'm glad that you showed us that because that's actually something very cool, which you always got. You always have nice, cool stuff like that. I remember you had there's like a bracelet that has tools on it that you can get on
Uh,
the plane. I don't know if you're
oh,
still
I don't.
wearing that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that here or not. Where is that? I have like a drawer full of knives, literally full of knives right
And
next
very
to
cool tools. So while you're digging through for
me.
those,
Yeah,
I know that
it's not in here.
Art,
So.
who joined us over here, we were in like before the show. We sometimes do live things on Facebook and Instagram, and Art was over there, and he came over, and he says he wants to know about Hacksaw Ridge and Dunkirk. So those are like, have you seen
Okay.
any of those movies?
I saw Hacksaw Ridge. I loved it.
That was good.
Wow.
Okay,
Oh man, that was a really good movie. I mean,
that was the guy who didn't want to kill anyone, right? But he was in the army.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. Is it? I'm trying to remember if he was the first conscientious objector or if he was just a significant one. But he said, "I want to join, but only to help the soldiers. You know, help them save people's lives."
Right.
And so that's what he did. And I mean, that in itself is kind of an interesting premise, but that wouldn't be enough to sort of sell me on the whole thing, because I'm like, come on, man, carry a rifle just to protect yourself. But it
Right. You can
was
save some guys on your side's life by carrying the rifle, but I understand where he's coming from. He
right.
still served and he still was out there while bullets were flying at him.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the fact that it's a true story, and the fact that they told the story in such an interesting way, and that they, they told kind of like the what was probably the climax of his life, which was, trying to get up this ridge, Hacksaw Ridge, which they called it, in which, and I don't want to give stuff away here, but
Right.
um, in trying to get up and hold this ridge, they kept being repelled, and they'd take it and they'd be repelled, and they'd take it and they'd be repelled, and then his crew came up and they tried to take it, and most of that crew was repelled, and he spent. I'm not really giving anything away by telling you this, because there's so many details to the movie that it's not really giving anything away. But he spent like the entire night up there while the Japanese were, looking around for wounded and stuff. He spent the entire night also looking for wounded from his side, pulling them off the ridge and like lowering them down off the ridge with rope and stuff to save
Wow.
their lives. It was like
Okay.
watching that, and he was like, please Lord, just one more, please Lord, just one more. And he would go back and get one more guy and bring him down. It was like, by the end of that movie, I was, it was really good. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
you kind of, from what I'm understanding, you see that this guy was still brave and it wasn't,
Oh yeah.
what some people might think like, hey, this guy's being a coward. He just had his beliefs and he stuck up
Oh,
for them like we do.
oh my goodness. I mean, if anybody called that guy a coward, I mean, that's the furthest, he was the furthest thing from it. And putting himself in that position was was astounding, and the things that he got done. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So let me see
What was the other
here.
movie you asked about?
Dunkirk. Dunkirk. Yeah.
I want to see Dunkirk.
That's out. That just came out, right?
Yeah, it's been like a week or something, so I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty intense.
That's a Christopher Nolan, who's like, I
yeah,
love him as a director.
Yeah, I mean, Inception, Batman.
Oh my gosh, dude! Interstellar, so many good movies.
Yeah, he did that movie where the guys were magicians fighting against each other.
Was that The Prestige?
Was it? I think so.
I believe that was The Prestige.
Yeah. So
he's another one that came out right around the same time, but I think that was The Prestige.
Yeah. So, and then also, while we're on the subject of movies here, someone wants to know, will you be seeing the Gunslinger movie with Idris Elba? I think that's Dark Tower, which...
yeah. I think it's called The Dark Tower, isn't it?
I think it's called The Dark... I never even knew that Stephen King wrote a young adult series. I didn't even know.
That's not a young adult series.
It's not? Oh, okay, because I never read it.
That's not a young adult series.
Okay, because I saw there was a kid in there, but okay, I guess that.
Yeah, there's a kid in there, but no, I listened to most of the books. I think I'd found people uploaded them to YouTube. Uploaded the somebody reading through it and stuff. So I listened to most of the series. I don't think I got all of it. Got through all of it.
So it's more mature than that.
It is definitely more mature. I mean, Stephen King stuff is generally pretty mature, but so I listened to most of it. The story was interesting. The world that he kind of created was probably more interesting than the story itself to me. And what I'm hearing is that the movie neither does, it neither stands on its own as, satisfying people who haven't read the books, and like it doesn't really satisfy them, but then the people who have read the books, it serves them even less. So what I'm hearing is that it's just kind of going to be a flop.
Okay.
So I may see it. I'll probably pick it up on Redbox or something because...
Yeah. I mean, I know obviously there's some unbelievable shooting in there or unrealistic, picture like a picture.
I don't mind that so much because that's, you're creating a fantasy world, right? So things are going to happen in a fantastical way. And so I don't mind that.
Yeah.
And that can just be fun to watch.
And then I think there's probably a little bit of controversy because they switched the race of the main character.
If they
did, I don't know if that was that really prevalent in the stories.
It wasn't. It was not a critical thing. Like what his race was made no difference in the movie. Yeah. And so when they cast Idris Elba, I was just like, I like Idris Elba.
I mean, he's a believable badass.
Oh heck yeah, heck yeah! And I mean, again, if you're talking about this is supposed to represent the American West, then then his race could be an issue because it's like you didn't see a lot of black dudes cruising around the American West doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some black cowboys. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean,
they probably had to keep low profiles.
Right. So my point is like, if they were trying to pattern it like completely after the American West, then that could be an issue. But I don't think they were.
And it's fantasy. It's it's
a mixture of like American Western story and fantasy. But apparently the movie just didn't give you anywhere near enough of the Western aspect to it. So maybe it just needed a lot more of that.
I think sometimes we get into this stuff when they switch things around, because people are like, that's messing up the whole thing. And I kind of, I don't care about that as much, I think, as how good is the story. Yeah. When you tell the story, because there's, to me, it's a lot of this has to do with storytelling. Now, for example, with Ghostbusters, when they switched to all chicks. Yeah. I
didn't see it, honestly.
I didn't want to see it because I was like, okay, the fanboys are all dudes. So, and the original Ghostbusters had like, hot chick in there. What's her name?
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver, but it was comedy. We wanted to see ourselves reflected as dudes in the Ghostbusters guys, and like they fit different prototypes for dudes. So like when you switch it to all women, and the people who would go see that are guys, were like, oh, I guess this is not for me. So sometimes that is a thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And then they really didn't have like hot chicks that I would want to see anyway.
Yeah.
So I refused to see it, but I actually saw, we were on vacation and the hotel had it.
Okay.
where it was free, and I looked at it, and it was worse than I thought.
I'm glad I didn't go see it then.
Yeah, I was like, let me give it a chance.
Yeah,
it might make me laugh.
I know. I think my kids actually watched it with my aunt, but that was like they rented it from the Red Box or something. So it's like,
right.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was horrible, and that's like, why do all of that? But hey, Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
This is how this stuff is going nowadays. So
that's true.
I totally understand that. Okay, so now someone is who is this? Let me see, who is that? 904 Outdoors is saying, did I just call Sigourney Weaver a hot chick? Yes, Sigourney Weaver in the 70s and 80s was a hot chick. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, she was.
He's obviously too young to know any better.
If you didn't see Alien, go see Alien, the original Alien.
You'll see what I'm talking about. She's like one of those scary, crazy hot chicks.
Yeah, no, she's like a super intense. She's got a lot of like toughness to her presence, but at the same time, she's hot.
Yeah, she was sexy, and and
even, you know what? Even through Galaxy Quest, did you ever see Galaxy Quest?
Yes, she was good in there too.
In Galaxy
absolutely.
Quest.
Yeah, but 904 Outdoors is too young to know about that. I'm just teasing.
Too bad.
Yeah, he's like a teenager, so he wouldn't know about Galaxy Quest either. And he's probably not that nerdy. So let's just put it there.
Got to be a little more nerdy.
Yeah, Galaxy Quest, one of my favorite movies, and actually, William Shatner is in the news, right? Because obviously, William Shatner is in Galaxy Quest.
Oh,
no. William Shatner is not in Galaxy Quest. It's Tim Allen. But Tim Allen is playing William, like he's playing a William Shatner.
The William Shatner character type. That's what he's playing.
Yeah. So like that's what Galaxy Quest is about. It's kind of a takeoff on Star Trek.
Yeah.
And so Tim Allen is playing the William Shatner type character.
Right.
And then I guess Sigourney Weaver is playing
she would be considered like a cross between Uhuru and Yeoman something or other.
Yeah. Or hot chicks that you see in sci-fi movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it's funny because the reason why I thought of William Shatner, even though it wasn't him, is like William Shatner. I think he's in the news because everyone else in Star Trek are all social justice warriors now.
Okay.
Yeah, and William Shatner is not having that shit. So he's like, he's telling them to shut the hell up.
Good for him.
So he's getting a lot of flack.
I haven't seen that. Yeah. I should look up what he said.
Well, I'll try to pull that up here when we hit some other stuff.
Well, I think that's true about Tim Allen as well, because he had the whatever the TV show that he was doing recently.
Yeah,
where it was very much very kind of had a conservative bent to it.
Yeah. So so let's see here. Let me hit this up. Okay, someone wants you to tell us about the intro video with Shia. I don't know if I'm saying that. Is it Shia?
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. So what's up with that?
So I guess they call it an intro video just because it's the one that you first find on my channel if you're not subscribed to my channel.
Oh, okay. Did you just put that up? Because I don't think I've seen what they're talking about.
Well, you may not have seen it because you've been subscribed to me for a while.
Yeah, right.
And so again, it is on the it's on my channel page when you first show up there. If you haven't, because it's got different settings, right? And you can say this one's visible to people that are brand new. This one's visible to subscribers, and this one's visible to you. So that's the one that's visible to new people. And I put that up there because I like it. I thought it was hilarious. And so I did that video a couple of years ago, at least. And it was back when, you probably remember the video that went up with Shia LaBeouf. It was all green screen. And it was him doing the whole, do it, just do it.
Okay, I know that he's always in some craziness.
Okay.
And there's always some videos coming out with him.
Okay, yeah. So he posted that thing, and it was like, the background of it I don't know too much about, but it was like just a piece of like a much longer video that was sort of like, I don't know, some sort of an acting clinic or something that he did with some people. And so he did a bunch of little monologue type things on a green screen, and it was just him kind of walking back and forth doing these little things. And each one was like maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And then he did the motivational one, whatever that was, where he was screaming, do it, just do it, and yes, you can, and all this other stuff. And people thought it was so hilarious because it was so random and weird, and it's him on a green screen. And everybody, I mean, absolutely everybody, the week that it came out, everybody that knew how to use a mouse was up there and, you know, getting that into their editing software and putting him on all kinds of backgrounds. And it turned into more than a meme. Like everybody chopped it up and did all kinds of fun stuff with it. So that week, as soon as I saw what it was, I'm like, man, this is hilarious. There's got to be some way to get this into a gun video. How do I turn this into something that would be fun to watch for my audience? And so basically I just kind of wrote a script around what he had already said and what he was doing, and wrote kind of a script about what, you know, how I might interact with him in that video, and kind of built that script based on that. And it turned into a thing where I was trying to zero a rifle and he was waiting impatiently for me to get off my rifle so he could have a turn shooting it. And so it was he and I going back and forth, and him shouting at me, "Do it, just take the shot," you know, basically. And so, and yeah, the way the context that I put it in made it look like he was just desperate to hurry up and get on my AR-15 and do some shooting, when in reality there was nobody over there. It was just a field, you know. But I put him on green screen, pacing back and forth, watching me shoot. So
is Shia? He's probably not a gun guy. He's one of those social justice dudes, I think.
Yeah. Did you see the whole
with the cop that arrested him?
Well, no, like even before that, I think he did this live streaming thing for Facebook. He said it was going to go up for the entire Trump administration, and it was in it was in downtown New York City somewhere, or Brooklyn maybe. And he had a sign up there as a camera, and he was like, it's just live streaming constantly, and you're supposed to walk up to the camera and you're supposed to say, "He will not divide us," and that's all you're supposed to say, you know.
Oh, that was probably like an art piece for him.
Yeah, kind of like an art piece / you know, demonstration, political statement thing. And it quickly became co-opted. Other people would show up and, you know, use the camera for other things. Steven Crowder, who I watch here on YouTube, does Louder with Crowder, is a great show. He went there and did he did his show live from that from that camera. And so he had like a fake microphone that he was holding up, and his producer Jared was had a fake production board in front of him, and they were standing there and they were doing the whole show. But they were open to having people just come up and debate with them and chat with them the whole time, which was really cool to see. But yeah, Shia, I would say that he's definitely on the left side of the political spectrum. And so,
he's also lost his shit. He's totally batshit crazy now. I mean, he was a good he's been acting for a long time, since he was a kid. He's been in he's done some decent movies, like the original.
Dude. There's like a lot of kid actors just go nuts. Did you notice that?
Yeah, probably has something to do with Hollywood.
I agree.
I
agree. I think there's some stuff going on in Hollywood that is not good for kids.
Yeah, not everyone goes down that path, but he's totally fully embraced the crazy.
Yeah.
There's so much we could talk about Shia LaBeouf craziness for a long time, because I remember reading that he got raped by a woman. Huh?
Oh, I hadn't read that, but
yeah, he was doing some kind of art piece, and I guess he wasn't talking. And people were coming into this. I think he had a space, and people were coming in there, and he was doing this thing where you could come in, but he wasn't talking. So this woman just came in there and sexually abused him.
Okay.
I was just read about it if you have time to burn.
Okay.
Because it's just funny as hell, and he's just totally lost his. I'm not trying to say that dudes can't be raped by women. I'm not trying to bring down the dudes out there that have been sexually abused by women. Because it does happen, as crazy as that sounds.
Sure does.
But
I'll have to look that up.
It's a debatable thing. I don't know if you want to go deep on that.
No, we'll leave it.
Yeah, probably not.
Some folks have asked who Steven Crowder is.
Yeah.
So, Louder with Crowder is the YouTube channel, or at least that's the name of the show. It might be louderwithcrowder.com, and Steven Crowder if you wanted to find him on YouTube. But he's got, I don't know, he's like, what is it, 700,000, 800,000 subscribers. He's
really relatively big. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he does spoofs. I mean, he's I guess you can put him as a conservative comedian.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he does spoofs and stuff like that, because I think I was watching a video that he did for the Mug Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically a spoof of the last Batman movie.
I haven't checked that one out yet.
Yeah.
But I saw one he did of Braveheart that was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he's always doing stuff.
Yeah.
So if you haven't, check him out. There's lots of good guys out there.
Who do you watch that's not a gun channel?
I watch Crowder sometimes. I watch Stefan Molyneux.
I watch Stefan as well.
Yeah. I sometimes even watch Joe Rogan, who Joe Rogan is like he's an LA guy, so he's a comedian.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put him in the category of being a conservative, but he is pro hunting, pro gun, pro man, and stuff like that. But honestly, he's a dude out in LA that smokes a lot of weed. So
yeah.
He can't completely understand us, but he's not against us either.
Yeah, true. I watch him sometimes, particularly when he has guests on that I'm really interested in.
Right. Yeah. And then I watch a lot of car stuff because are you into cars?
Not particularly.
Oh, okay.
No. I don't know why.
I'm sad. I'm putting on my sad face now for everyone listening.
I probably should be, but I don't know. It's just one new thing to get into that I haven't gotten into, I guess. I mean, I drive a car, but aside from that,
what kind of car do you
drive? A Subaru. I'm a lesbian.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you know you're a lesbian. You're either a lesbian or IT guy.
Right. Well, I'm not an IT guy, but I guess I'm close. I work in graphic design, so it's
close. What Subaru do you have?
Outback. It's like a 2012 Outback. But I have a friend who does some local comedy clubs and stuff, and he opens with, "Hey, my name's Andrew. I'm a lesbian." Oh, sorry, no, I drive a Subaru.
Yeah. But, statistically, that's who buys Subarus, and
it's very stereotypical. Yeah, it's a stereotypical thing. Like people, kind of stereotype that. But yeah.
Yeah, there are dudes that buy Subarus. Like my brother had actually, a bunch of people in my family have Subarus.
Yep. Yeah, no. So my wife's dad was a Subaru mechanic for her whole life. Mm-hmm. So all they ever drove were Subarus. And so, I kind of married into it, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And we've kind of just been driving Subarus ever since. But honestly, they're super practical cars. They get good gas mileage, and they go everywhere I want to take them. So
they're pretty tough. They're pretty tough. They're all-wheel drive. I like Subarus. Have I owned a Subaru? I've actually never owned a Subaru. I think it's because the styling is definitely for lesbians. So, but I'm not against Subarus, and people in my family have them, and there's some badass Subarus like a WRX. I mean,
yeah, oh heck yeah,
that's iconic.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I guess I need to get a Subaru. I am a car guy, in case you're wondering.
Mm-hmm. No, I remember. What was the car you had when I was out there last? You still have that?
Yes, I do. I have a Dodge Challenger Scat Pack.
Yeah.
It's
pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. I love it. I didn't think I was a Mopar guy, but I just got another Mopar.
Okay.
So I got a Ram Rebel.
Nice.
With a Hemi engine. Basically, it's a Ram 1500 that's all like geared up and tricked out.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty badass. It has like a air suspension system, so it's like it levels itself and all that. When you go, it's 4x4.
Nice.
Huh?
Like Chryslers or something? Or no, not Chryslers.
Yeah, there's a few cars, but I don't know how many 4x4s have a air suspension system. But basically, you can make it drop all the way down to the ground if you're putting heavy things in there.
Okay.
It's a pickup truck, or if you're getting in, if you're height challenge, I was going to say short, like low.
Uh-huh.
But if you're height challenge, you can drop it down to the ground. When you go off road, you can lift it up. And when you're on the highway, it automatically settles into an aerodynamic stance and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Plus, if you put a bunch of weight in the bed, it will level itself out. It will level out the ride and all that. So
that's pretty deluxe, man.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. So I posted something where I said that I'm country now because I have a pickup truck.
I saw that.
Yeah, which there are some people who are actually country that took exception to that. There's a few. Not that many, but you know what? I have owned a pickup truck, but I never really drove it on the road. I didn't put plates on it or anything, and it didn't work that great.
Okay. I kind of reserve the right to buy a pickup truck one of these days, and I may, and I'd totally be down for buying like a, old beat up Chevy or Ford.
That's what I was going to ask you, where you would go if you got a pickup.
I don't care about the brand particularly right now, but I would go for something old and, like strong running, but in like, maybe some questionable cosmetic shape, and
Right.
then just, you know, run that thing into the ground and then just
Like
use
how old? Like apocalyptic old, where it just has carburetors so it can survive a,
no,
you
probably
know?
like 80s or something. I'd go with something like boxy and old from the 80s.
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
But that's if and when I decided to get into a pickup. As it is right now, the Subaru does fine for me. I have a trailer that I use to pull things around. I got a motorcycle fairly recently.
Okay, cool.
So
What kind of bike?
it's a Honda XL250 1980s.
Okay.
So old bike, it's beat up. It's got a terrible paint job on it. It's like all black everywhere, and a lot, you know, a few pieces missing here and there, but it runs nice.
Are you
So
gonna fix it up?
a little, like it needs a new rear tire, but I may not go much further than that. So what I'll probably do is obviously get the new rear tire for it, get it as clean as I want it to be, probably, and then I don't think I'm like going to dress it up or anything really. I'll probably just make sure that it runs real nice and strong. It's got everything it needs mechanically, and then as it is right now, it does run pretty well. But at that point, I don't know, dude. I might just Mad Max it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah. So
Just keep it
why did you get the bike? Is it you just enjoy riding, or did you get it just like as an apocalyptic kind of thing? Like, I'm gonna have a bike, I can, you know, get
Yeah,
out of a city if I need
right.
to.
A little bit of that, honestly, but also because I'd never owned a motorcycle before. Like a long
Hmm.
time ago, I owned a scooter, which is not the same as a motorcycle. You know, I didn't have gears to shift or anything like that.
Right.
So knowing that, you know, I didn't really have any experience with that, I thought this is something I want to get experience with. And also I want something that's got the capability to take me on tracks that maybe my car doesn't want to go on or won't go on very easily.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, I was like, you know, there are a lot of backcountry roads and mountain roads that I'd love to spend some time exploring, in which it doesn't need to be street legal necessarily. And so I could just hop on that thing, ride, and just kind of enjoy some cool views,
Yeah.
and get some cool YouTube footage. And that's kind of the other main thing, you know, is this is going to be a tool for doing stuff for the channel. So that's kind of the.
Oh, cool. Have you posted anything from it yet, or?
No, I've still,
Okay.
I got it, and then I rode it a little bit for like a week or two, and then I mostly kind of put it in the shed and held it there because it's like, okay, I need to get the tire, I need to change the oil. When am I going to do that? And I've just been
Yeah.
crazy busy since then. So
Really? I don't know how you could be busy. I mean, you know, you're just a YouTube
it's
guy that makes
weird.
videos all the
I know, it's
time.
weird, right?
That
You
should be
think
so easy.
that's
You
all
just
you
make
do,
videos
right,
and make
Shane?
money.
You just sit around, talk to the
Yeah.
camera, and make money all day, don't
Yeah,
you?
why don't you use your millions to like hire someone? You could get Jesse James to fix up your motorcycle, man. What's
Yeah, I
wrong with
hadn't thought of that. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah,
Speaking
you
of,
know, what else do you do with your YouTube million, Shane?
I just lots of bullets, I guess.
Now, just because some people out there they're not going to believe that we're being facetious,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but we
Oh
are.
man, some folks still think that whether it's Gun Guys or anybody else on YouTube that, and maybe I don't know, maybe all the other YouTube channels out there. If you talk about the toy channels and the vlog channels, and you know, all the other types of channels that the comedy channels and whatnot that don't do anything related to what we do, maybe they do still earn tons of bucks. I don't know.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what I do.
there's probably something. I mean, there's millions of people that have YouTube channels.
Oh yeah,
So there's probably
and more every day.
right, and there's
Tons more.
probably maybe anywhere from a few hundred to maybe 1,000 people that have YouTube channels that maybe make in the six figures, right? Because I haven't looked into this scientifically. This is all just, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I don't
empirical
know.
evidence here. But there's maybe 10 guys that make $1 million like everyone thinks. I mean, most of the rest of the people doing YouTube before the whole, you know, because what you were referring to just now is that everything changed with YouTube and there was kind of a YouTube apocalypse.
Right, the adpocalypse people talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
So
there may be, and I don't know, I don't have any idea who or how much money they earn, but yeah, there probably are still plenty of YouTube millionaires out there. But I think that what YouTube has chosen to place the ads on, and sort of the high bid ads, the ones that earn the most money, what they've chosen to put those on are not videos like ours.
no,
So,
no, we're kind of in the band category. We're like soft band.
yeah,
So,
sort of. We're restricted. We're age restricted. That's for sure.
yeah.
So And age restricted, some folks say, and I got a friend who's done some stuff voluntarily with YouTube, and he's given me some insight in that regard. And he's like, yeah, you know, in regards to the age restricted stuff, he says that that's like a really tiny percentage of the views that YouTube actually has.
Mm-hmm.
And that and he also said, look, you know, there isn't different treatment happening with gun channels with YouTube. They're not picking.
Yeah, I think it's all around. There's lots of different channels that are going through that. If you've got cursing or anything that they consider questionable or political, it's not just gun things. It's just whatever they don't like. I mean, you know.
I think maybe they have, you know, sort of categories for what they claim is, like you said, kind of questionable and not necessarily friendly to the broadest audience. And for that stuff, they just don't give you the high bid ads. And so they'll give you these low bid ads that won't earn you as much money, or I don't know. But then, I mean, it's seasonal, number one. And so right now it's like about the lowest it gets for ad revenue in the first place. But then that in mind, with all the changes that have happened with YouTube and the way that they're sort of, you know, whatever it is they're doing, I'm also seeing things like dropping like from like a half to 1/3 of what it had been last year. So there's clearly, whether it's a targeting of gun channels and folks that are a little more questionable in that sense, or if it's just a general drop in ad revenue across the board, I'm not sure, but it has definitely changed. And so, yeah, all those millions you're talking about, I haven't seen them.
Yeah, I think there's a perfect storm of stuff going on nowadays. Also, not only is it just a general drop because it's the summertime and people are going on vacation and buying other things, and that affects also the firearms market. Now, for the most part, firearms manufacturers and accessory makers are not allowed to advertise on YouTube. So people think that we benefit because maybe the industry spends a lot of money advertising. If they do, they're still spending that money with magazines, I would say, probably.
Yeah. I'm not getting cash from anybody.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing, you know, unless like I've got a few sponsors, I mean, that's really the only way. Honestly, the way to do this, there's not a lot of money in this thing at all. And right now, in this particular time, everything is down, including even people watching stuff, right?
True.
Because gun guys aren't as super interested in guns right now because their families are on vacation, the kids are out of school. You know, they're spending money on other things right now.
Right.
You know, and that interest in guns really picks up towards the end of the year, heading towards SHOT Show.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, if you want to look at this like on a chart or something like that. So all of those things being said, if you want to be consistently, in my opinion, if you want to consistently put these videos up, you either have to have your own money, or have people that sponsor you, or have like a Patreon thing going, or have a combination of different things going on. Like, you know, that's what we do.
Right. You know? In my case, the reason it's not the end of the world for me is that, you know, I still keep a full-time job, and I've done that the entire time throughout my channel. So the amount of videos I'm able to put out totally reflects that, you know, because it's like some weeks it's one video a week. It's a Sunday video, and that's it. You know, because that's all I had time for. And
you consistently put up videos on a regular basis on Sundays, right?
Yeah, that is true. And if you go to my channel page, it even says that. So I try to make every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Utah time is when my video goes up. But I also try to have a Thursday video as well. Sometimes that, you know, some weeks that doesn't happen, so I don't promise it. But the Sunday video, I just more or less 99% guaranteed to be there every week. I got off track. What were we talking about?
You were saying like the frequency of videos you usually put them up on Sundays, but sometimes the frequency goes up, right?
Sometimes the frequency goes up when I have time to, but you know, that's I talked about that because it's, you know, just kind of a reflection of the fact that, you know, as a guy that works at a normal job full time 9 to 5, it's like, and then I've got stuff to do with my family, and then I've got stuff to do around the house, and then it's like, oh yeah, I've got a video I want to work on. That's why it's like one video a week for me. So again, it's not the end of the world that things have gone downhill as far as ad revenue, because again, I still have the full-time job to rely on. But it does make it harder to sort of keep things going at a pace or at a quality level that is meaningful and is where I want it to be when revenue is down a lot. I mean, I will say that some of the things that have kind of made up for the YouTube, the drop in ad revenue is affiliate revenue. So I have things set up with Amazon, and a lot of other channels do as well. And that's I think it's a great way to do it. Amazon, a handful of other places that I use that I've been able to set up affiliate stuff through, which means that when I talk about something in the video, and if you like what you're seeing and you're satisfied and you're sold on it, it's like there's a link down below. You can always just go over there and buy it. And if you do, then a little bit of money comes back to me, which helps to make up for that ad revenue that has dropped so significantly.
Right, which is a good way to show, to show some appreciation and support for someone who's giving something valuable to people when you take your time and give them your opinion. And I mean, I watch your videos, man. You tell people what you think about stuff. I was looking at a video you put up recently talking about, and we were talking about this last night, actually, because we had an AK conversation. You were talking about a Century Arms AK that you bought. Yeah. I don't know. I think you bought that a couple months ago.
I bought it. It was probably
the beginning of the year.
It was like back in February, March, sometime around there. The M70 ABM, yeah. And I gave Century the chance to, I wanted to just post a video right out of the gate with it, saying, "Hey, here's the issue with it." But I wanted to say, no, let's get this back in their hands first. So it took me a lot longer to get the video out than I had planned. But I wanted to have a complete point of view with it, and so sent it back to them, said, "Hey, here's your chance, please get this little thing tweaked," because I saw that the front sight was one way and then like the grenade sight was the other way, and I'm like, this doesn't work, man. I gotta.
It was funny. I was watching that and I was like, okay.
So I know,
so you sent it to them.
I sent it to them and pointed out what it was, and I even like shot some video showing what it was, put some levels on the site saying, look, here's what I'm seeing. This bubble's way off there, that bubble's way off here. So, please address this and get it back to me looking a little bit better. And if they made a change to it, it didn't look any better. And in fact, the hood on the site may have been bent a little bit. And so I pointed it out and I showed it in the video, and, Century, you had your chance to fix it. I wish you had, but I'm not hating on Century Arms. I think that, for the most part, they put out some pretty good guns. But
we want to like guns. We're gun guys. We want to like guns. We want to like companies. I mean, we want to.
Oh my gosh, man! I see. You see pictures, you get emails, and you're like, oh, that one looks good. Oh, that one looks good. Oh, I don't have that one yet. I don't have one like that yet. And so you're thinking about all this stuff. And most of if you're into AKs, if you're even interested in AKs, most of them come from Century Arms. So many variants do anyway. And so. And the affordable ones, by the way. And so you're like,
they're probably the biggest AK, like single AK importer, right?
I would guess so, especially of so many different types, right? And so you see all these different ones, and you want to get into them, and you're super tempted by them. And like you said, we want to like them. We want to get into that. We want to shoot it. We want to have a great time with it. We want to say this thing performs flawlessly, and it looks like it's put together by a master. We want to say all that stuff, but we have to say what we find.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's just as disappointing to us as it is to some people. And I think that when I get into things like that, I'm not trying to bring down a company. I'm trying to help them and help people, because I don't think people appreciate enough what it is for guys out there to buy guns. People just don't have all the money in the world, right? Some people do, but most people don't. And you're buying a rifle, sometimes you have to sell another rifle or figure out how to get this money or not eat. Or your kids have to wear the same shoes, or whatever it is that you personally have to do. And what happens when you buy that gun? I mean, it could devalue if you buy it and then immediately you have to sell it, and then there's problems with it.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Bryant was just saying he watched my C308 video. Said it was a good video. Thanks, Mike. One. You did that a while ago, right? I did do that a while ago. And so that was one that I bought from them. Like right off the bat, like they sent it to me as a T&E, gave me their price on it. And I'm like, I want this gun. I just think it's cool. So I bought it, spent a lot of time with it, trying to make it the gun that I felt like I wanted it to be. Spent a good amount of time, a good amount of ammo, shooting that gun. And then, I felt like I got a ton of data on it. understanding what it could do and what it couldn't do. Ultimately, it was like, this gun is not impressing me for accuracy at all. With the best ammo I had in hand, it was like still 3 MOA. So I was like, I just feel like it should be doing better than that. And there were a handful of different performance issues that it had that were pretty disconcerting. And I tried to cover all of that as best I could in the video. And also, you know, in that video, I spent a lot of time sort of preparing that video and scripting it, actually, because that's one of the few that I did script. I script some videos now and then, but typically I'll do things off the cuff. But I scripted that one because there was a lot I wanted to say about it. It was going to be real difficult to hold it all in my head. And, you know, I just wanted to kind of get the information right. So I spent a lot of time sort of researching the type and understanding the whole G3 SETME platform, and in order to talk about the C308 as sort of the latest iteration and version of all that. So it was a fun video to make. It took a lot of time, but thanks for the compliment. I'm pretty proud of it. I think that it stands the test of time as far as, you know, the information that's in it. And yeah, I wish the C308 was a better gun, man. Yeah, I'm afraid it's not. But then again, it's like I've never shot a PTR. I've never shot an original G3 either. And some folks aren't wildly crazy about those either, as compared to like your AR-10s and stuff. So
yeah. Well, that was a conversation, even one of the other conversations we got into last night, because the question came up of, you know, what's better, an AR or an AK? And the gentlemen that were on with me, in my opinion, are AK fanboys.
Okay.
You know, I respect them for that. You know, I mean, we're all fanboys. I'm like a bullpup fanboy and all that. But I don't think the AK is better than the AR, you know, in general. So,
you know what? If I don't know if we want to get into that whole thing or not. But
well, what do you think? You can tell me.
I guess I'll throw in on that just a little bit. I love the AK platform for all the variety you can get from it, and all the personality and all the history that comes with it. So for that reason, looking at AKs, I love looking at them. I love holding them. I love shooting them.
Yeah, I think they're the probably one of the most, if not the most popular rifle in the world.
Yeah, they're iconic. There's a lot of history to them, a lot of interesting stuff going on with the AK.
And they're fun.
Yeah, for that reason, like romantically, I like the AK. But as far as like from a practical standpoint, I will always rather have an AR. It's from an accuracy standpoint, I like it better. From the standpoint of being able to swap out parts and the interchangeability of parts with, you know, your neighbor or whoever, or just getting new parts and customizing it to be exactly the gun you want, expecting things to fit well. The AR wins there too. The round, I mean, you could say that you don't like the round, you don't like 5.56 as much as you like 7.62 by 39. Okay, you know, that's I don't. You know, that's a different discussion, probably.
Yeah, it's a nice big beefy bullet, relatively.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, generally speaking, like for hunting or just general defensive applications, or just as a sporting rifle, as if you're going to buy one rifle and you don't know what you should get, I would tell you get an AR. Because right now they're as far as prices are concerned, you can get into either a decent AK or a decent AR for around the same price lately.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you want, I mean, look, I'm not trying to say there's not great AKs, because there are. You know, there's AKs out there that can be relatively accurate, all that kind of stuff, but you're going to spend some money even today.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
You know, that's the thing. You're talking like high-end AKs here.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And it comes down to, if you want to, for me anyway, the way I'm seeing it lately, it seems like if I want to have an AK that I really love and that I think is like top quality and heads and tails, you know, way above, you know, the $600 AK that I'm tempted to buy. If I want to get into one of those, I'm spending a lot of money.
2,000-3,000.
Yeah, maybe
approaching 4,000.
At that price, maybe I just want to get into an AR-10. You know,
Yeah, I mean, and you don't have, and nowadays now there are AR-10s that you would have had to in the past spend. Let me lock it on you so we can see that. Go ahead, show that to us again. Yeah, there's AR-10s that you could have in the past spent 4,000, but there's not that many nowadays. You can get a good AR-10 for less than 2,000, right?
Oh yeah, I don't remember what this one costs.
So this is a Stag, right?
This is a Stag 10. This is like their lightweight Stag. This is like the 16-inch barreled one. So far I'm liking it. They sent me this one as a T&E, and I've only got a few rounds through it so far, but so far I like the size of it.
Yeah, so this is the Stag 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've got one of the Stag 10s that we're testing. We also have one that we're giving away, the Bones version, which
nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I like the idea of companies doing a Bones version.
I like that
rifles.
Too. Totally. Well, especially with ARs, right?
Yeah.
Because you get into all the customization, all the different components that you're thinking about putting onto it, and maybe maybe you do, maybe you don't know what you want to put on your AR. Maybe you'll figure it out down the road. But if you do know what you want on your AR, it's usually not going to be the exact same thing that they're going to put it on it when they first sell it to you.
Yeah.
So you're going to be looking at it and be like, I really want this handguard, or I really want that grip on it. I really want that particular stock. And everybody's taste is going to be a little bit different. So you're getting a Bones version of something like that is super useful.
Yeah, so, I think going forward, we'll see probably more companies doing the Bones versions. You could save $500-600, maybe more than that, and then you could put what you want to on the rifle. Okay, what's this one you show?
Lock it on this. This is the
lightweight.
Yeah, this is the Brigand Arms carbon fiber handguard.
Haha, cool.
I got this in for T&E as well. I don't think I'm going to be dropping bricks on it necessarily, but we'll try to do something to see how strong it is.
Yeah, it's carbon fiber. It's probably relatively tough. I mean,
oh man, yeah. I mean,
it's probably worth $1,000 or something, right?
Not quite, not quite. I think it's in the threes though. I think it's
threes. Okay,
it's close to $300.
And then what kind of barrel is that? It doesn't look like a pencil barrel, is it?
No,
it doesn't look like one.
No, I don't know what that is exactly. So this gun is not necessarily set up to be like a primo lightweight rifle. This is just like the Anderson AM15, the one that's the RF85 treated one that I got from them. And so we did the whole 2,500 round shoot with this gun with no lubrication. And there were a couple little bobbles in there, but I think there was more ammo related than it was lubrication related. But you guys can watch the video and get your opinion on that.
Yeah. Let me just give a quick shout out. Enrique Sonora says, "Good evening, Shane. So good to see you as a live guest."
Enrique. How you doing, man?
Yeah. So,
seeing his name in the comments and around for a long time.
I'm sure there's I can see in the comments we've got some fans of yours out there. So let us know if there's anything that you guys want to know from Shane, questions, things you want him to talk about. Maybe some off-topic stuff that he doesn't talk about on the channel, because we could we'll put the screws on him, ask him some tough questions. Now, do you have controversies out there?
Do I have controversies?
Yeah, I don't think you do.
I try to. I guess I try to stay away from it.
Yeah, I don't know if Century was happy with you when you did that 308 video.
Yeah, my guess is probably not. I think I did send them the video, sent them a link to it afterwards. But I mean, anybody that watches the video, you'll agree. I think I was being pretty darn professional.
No, you're being more than fair.
Yeah, I was being fair to them, but the experience was my experience. So
yeah, no, that's what we need. We need lots of information out there. So now, I know that there's one of the questions I see. People want to know, like, how do you manage SHOT Show every year? Because I know you do a lot of videos at SHOT Show. So we were talking about videos and frequency. I think when some shows come up, you don't go to NRA, right?
That's true. I have not gone to NRA yet. There was also the TriggerCon this past week or so. Yeah,
did you go to that one? Was that on the West Coast?
Yeah, I want to say that was in Washington.
Oh, okay, because I know you go to. I think Tactical Toolbox went to that, who sometimes chimes in here on the channel in the chat.
You did as well.
Yes, Mike did also go. I don't know if he put up any videos. I don't know if there's any videos coming out from it yet. I never even really heard of TriggerCon until like 6 months ago.
I guess it must be new. I don't know.
Yeah, so I haven't been there. But do you go to any other shows other than SHOT Show
I
on,
would,
in your
I would
area?
love to. I would love to go to every show. I'd love to go to NRA. I'd love to go to Blade Show. I'd love to go to, you name it. I'd love to go to them all. I can't even make it to the Iraq Veteran 88 shoot. Like, I've been invited a couple years, and I have not been able to find the time to go. It's mainly a matter of it's due to the fact that I got the full-time job thing holding me down, right? And so there's like getting away from that and getting away from, having adequate vacation time to take away from that, but then also spend a good amount of vacation time on my family is kind of the key thing, and that's real difficult.
Yeah, I've been to the Iraq veteran thing once, and it's, it's tough to go to everything, right? I mean, even this is what I do full time, but still I have to pick and choose what things I'm going to go to, and there's all kinds of different events, and then I'm trying to for me personally, because this is what I do full time, and I'm into broadcasting. I try to go to the broadcasting show. This year I'm going to be back. So I go to Vegas for SHOT Show, the broadcasting show, and SEMA.
SEMA is what again?
That's basically a big car show. It's for all the accessories related to cars. It's not like the auto show, but there are a lot of cars there, and so I went last year and I'm going this year, and I'm going to try to cover it from like the perspective of a gun guy and cover the vehicles that we're into, mostly 4x4s, pickup trucks, and some military stuff.
Sweet.
So, but that's so like you can't, Vegas on its own, man. Going to Vegas once for SHOT Show is like, for me, I'm on the East Coast, so that's me. Lola has to get the time. She actually has to work for a living.
Oh yeah, yeah. Totally.
And I'm laughing, but it's really tough. I wish she did it. I wish she worked for me for a living. I know she does not want to work for me for a living. She likes it like this, where she helps to pay for this. Most of the money for what we do here on the channel comes from Lola.
Yeah.
And there are people, we've got like Patreon people support us and all that. We've got sponsors and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but she has to take time off. Then we have to go out there. It's expensive. Everything in Vegas is ridiculously expensive. And all you do is run. I mean, I think that's why I was asking the question, because you do a lot of videos when you go to SHOT Show. And I think maybe some people don't understand that, this is like the one big show that you do every year.
Exactly. And I think that's the reason I hit it as hard as I do, because I know I'm not going to really do anything else. I mean, I think it was even Outdoor Retailer. Was that it? That was here in Utah just recently that I missed, that I would love to have gone to, but finding the time, even like after work, to go to it in the evening is hard to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think they even allow video to be shot there. So that may be another reason I haven't even tried to go, because I try to get video when I go to police.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point?
That's kind of what I'm going there for, right?
Yeah, if it's not a video, it didn't happen.
Well, it's good to get out there and kind of network with people, especially doing what we do. It's important to kind of get some connections and stuff. But yeah, we want to get some content. We're here to capture some content. So that's probably one of the main reasons that I hit SHOT Show as hard as I do, because I know that I'm not going to have time for another show throughout the year. And I try to capture as much as I possibly can there. And also, I know there's plenty of channels that can afford to and choose to make it more of a fun thing and more of a
baller event.
Yeah, kind of a vacation-y thing. And it's like, good for you, man. I'm glad you can do that.
Well, that's what.
For me, it's like if I'm going to go down there, I'm taking time away from my job, away from my family,
right?
And I'm trying to use it as a springboard for the year for the channel, and so I treat it like it's work, but work plus. It's like work plus overtime work.
Yeah,
and it is, because I don't know about you, man, but when I'm there, I'm on the floor, or I'm at the range all day, and then pick up some dinner on the way back to the hotel, and then I'm up till like 11 o'clock at night, getting stuff encoded and uploaded, and dinging people's little alerts, letting them know.
Yeah, see, that's what I was segueing to, because I remember from last SHOT Show, you put up a video, because I don't know if there was a little bit of pushback from people because you did so many videos, but I mean, and we're going all the time, but I think you go even harder than we do. And it's because this is I try to split it and spend a little bit more time networking and talking to people. And then I do try to get videos up. I mean, because that is the reason why I'm going there. right? I think there's a lot, like the bigger YouTube channels don't even want to go to SHOT Show.
Yeah, well, I think that was it IV8888 said that.
Yeah, Eric didn't go. Iraq Veteran did have some people out there this year, but you know, I don't think Eric and Chad went. But they,
I remember
guys
them
are really
saying,
busy.
Yeah, I remember them saying, and I don't want to be putting words in their mouths, but I remember hearing them say that it was for them, a lot of being there was about making connections, and they already had all the connections, and so going there and spending the money and spending the time and the resources to be there to do content was not going to be as worth it for them. And I totally understand that. And yeah, I mean, well, it is for me. It's like I try to get as much content as possible, but I'm dropping business cards and I'm shaking hands and I'm talking to people and I'm trying to meet up with folks like you if I find you and other YouTubers as well.
Yeah, and, if you slow down for a second. Which
that's part of it.
It's not easy to do. You know what the thing is, I think, and this is me, I'm not putting words in Eric or Mac for Military Arms Channel. He was on here and he said that he was talking about not really wanting to go, but he did wind up going, I think, at least for 1 or 2 days. The thing is if you're a bigger channel, you have so much stuff that's coming at you that you need to do videos for. If you take your time and your money and you go out to SHOT Show and you're there, you know, it's not like you're going to see the fans and everyone who really supports you and watches the videos. You're dealing with the companies. And if you are already connected to them, it's way more efficient to put up videos of stuff. True. You know, and it's efficient for them just as well as it is for you, because I mean, SHOT Show Media Day, it's a I don't know if people understand this. You pay to go to SHOT Show and it's expensive for any company that goes there. For example, Safety Harbor Firearms sponsors us and they go to SHOT Show. It's expensive. They've got to get flights, hotel rooms, pay to be on the floor. They don't do Media Day because Media Day is a whole other expense. You know, and in some cases, I don't want to pretend to even know, but I think I've heard people spend like $50,000, $60,000 just to have a slot in Media Day.
Wow.
You know, so if you think about it, if it's in the tens of thousands of dollars, what's more efficient for your company? If there's a big channel like Iraq Veteran, which those guys are like, you know, them and Hickok 45 and you know, and Military Arms channels, those guys are sitting right up there at the top in terms of influence and amount of people that look at the channel. They are media days on their own.
That's a good point.
You know, so it's not, you know, it's not like, it's not unthinkable that they would skip it. I totally understand it. And then they do go to things like NRA where they actually meet the folks and all that.
And you know, one of these days, and I keep having it in my head that one year I'll skip SHOT Show and I'll do NRA and or Blade, maybe both. You know, and I have that. I want to do that. If you're
gonna do Blade, let me know, because then I'm going to that with you.
Oh yeah,
I want to hang with you at Blade.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I'll think about that. But that's one thing I kind of speculate and would enjoy doing is like maybe skip the one and go to the other two. If that happens, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you know, and there are people who are fans of what we do. I know you see them, and you're not a small channel either. I mean, I think your channel's been growing. You've been working, really putting in the work. Your channel's been growing. I'm sure you're not on the superstar. You probably don't see yourself on superstar status. You are known.
Yeah.
You know, because of the amount of work that you put in.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a tough call, and everyone has to make it individually, because I know there are people who are fans of yours that you see at SHOT Show, right?
Yeah, periodically. Yeah, I'll run into folks there that recognize me from the channel. In most cases, it's other YouTubers. They'll be out there on the floor and we'll recognize each other and be like, "Oh, what's up?" You know, maybe we'll shoot a video together, or maybe we'll just hang out for a second.
Yeah, that's the one thing that you like. It's almost like prom or like your high school reunion.
Yeah, good point.
Because we all live in different places, and we're all so busy. Some people have regular jobs, some people are just doing this all the time, so they're busy, and you're always like shooting videos, editing, and doing social media. And so you see these, you communicate with people, or you look at people's videos, or you share their stuff, and you're doing things, but you don't actually physically see those people until you go to these shows. But I could tell you, for us, it's never fun. We get up early. I actually don't eat. I usually drink something, like we drink water, orange juice, and stuff like that. We run around all day, and we have one meal usually around like somewhere. When do they close? Like 6?
Yeah, something like 6.
Yeah, they close at 6, and then we're like, we try to have a meal, and we go back to the hotel room. There's always parties or events people invite you to, which we would rather not go to because there's video editing to do. Some of those things we have to go to because people are like, oh, we really want to talk to you. And then we have kids that are on a completely different coast.
Yeah, dude.
That we have to try to keep up with, or, like, hey, because if something, we're usually like, lately, because my kids are a little bit older, we can pretty much leave them on their own. I've got one that's in college now, and the other one's like a senior in high school, but still, I mean, they're your kids and you worry about them. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So
you're right. I mean, it's not, anybody that thinks you're going to go to SHOT Show and it's going to be so fun, and I'm jealous of you for going to SHOT Show. It's like, you might feel that way the first year that you go. By your third year, you're like, please no. Please.
Yeah.
Can I not? Can I skip it?
Yeah. I could do so many things with the money that we spend to go to SHOT Show.
I've gotten to be a pro at getting my feet ready every morning, dude. I'll tell you that right now. Because I don't spend a ton of time on my feet every day, and I should spend more. But it's like SHOT Show is like, it's a killer on my feet anyway. And so I have to do all this stuff, like some powder. And last year I discovered something called lamb's wool that you can like put between your toes if you have blisters. And in my case, it actually it works like a wool sock, where it doesn't make your foot hot at all. But
I never heard of that.
Yeah, and so you can get this stuff at your like pharmacies and stuff, and you just pull out a little bit of it, kind of like cotton, but it's a lot more. It's hair, so it's it's a lot harder to kind of pull out. And then you just kind of ball it up and kind of stuff it between wherever it's sensitive down on in your feet, like between whatever sensitive toes you have. So wherever you find yourself getting the most blisters, you just kind of pack that stuff in there, and it's totally saved my feet last year. Not one blister all week long.
Oh, wow. Okay. Lola's probably going to be looking into that right now.
Lamb's wool. Yeah.
So I think it's Mike Bryan asked the question of whether or not our kids shoot. Yes, they're boys. So they're also into video games. So they're into guns. And yes, they do shoot. I have like a few videos. They shoot with us periodically, but they're in school and stuff like that. So I try to focus on that. They do shoot. So they've shot full auto, all kinds of crazy guns. When people come out there, they do stuff with us. But, for me, what I want them to focus on is getting educations and figuring out what they want to do with life and all that stuff before they get it. Because this is always going to be here. But they are into guns. They do shoot guns. And I have tons of videos with them. So what about your kids? Do they shoot? I'm asking a question like I don't know.
Yeah. My kids shoot when I take them out. Now, I don't have a shooting range in my backyard.
Yeah, so you've got to work to go.
There's that.
I feel bad for you when I watch your videos.
Yeah, we got to drive a ways.
Yeah, and then you got to take steel out.
Oh, we got to pack a bunch of steel in the car. We got to get all the all this. It's like anybody else for the most part. You got to pack your targets. You got to pack your guns, your ammo, your ears, and all that other stuff. And make sure everybody's got enough water, some food, some snacks, and all that stuff, because we're going to be on the road for a little while. And then we're going to get out to the range. And then everybody's going to, shoot for maybe half an hour. And then they're going to get tired of it. And so they're going to want to go back into the car.
And everything has to get packed.
They got to have, we got to have something for them to do in the car, because I'm not done. Half an hour is not enough time for me. It's like we spent half an hour to get here. It's not
so more. When you go out, do you typically take the family with you?
I wouldn't say typically, but probably I try to do it every couple of months, every few months.
Okay.
And I do it as much as they ask for it, as much as they're interested in it. My daughter seems to be more excited about it lately than even my son sometimes. And my wife is pretty much, she'll go when I beg her to go, but it's like, it's not her thing. Yeah. She loves running. She loves CrossFit. And I totally applaud her in what she does, because it's like,
yeah, she supports you in what you're doing, obviously.
Obviously. And I support her in the stuff that she loves. So she'll come along with me to go shoot every now and then. I took her down to Front Sight a couple of years ago, and she took to that like a fish to water, which was awesome to see.
Okay. So she does carry?
No, she does not carry currently.
Okay.
But that option is on the table, and yeah, when she's interested in it. I'm not going to force her to do it or
Yeah,
push her.
you want her to be comfortable, you know. I think
Exactly.
that's important with this. I always, because people say, "Oh, Lola does this stuff with you. How do you get, you know, how do you get her to do that?" Well,
Yeah.
I get her, you know, if I try to, and I have before, try to make her do stuff, that doesn't work too well.
Nope. Never
You know, if
works
you want
out.
to sleep comfortably at night and eat food,
Yeah, pretty
you know.
much.
Yeah,
Pretty
and as you can see, I like to eat food, so you know I don't force her to do anything. I think you know, you have to let her choose. And Lola, when I think she does way better than me, but she chooses to do it and she comes to it on her own.
And
So
that's what it's got to be for any shooter, in my opinion, whether it's part of your family or just a friend or anybody. You know, you can't say, hey, why aren't you into guns yet? You know, you should get into guns.
yeah,
What's wrong with you?
that's not fair. I don't think that's fair.
No,
You
not at
know?
all. So
Yeah,
you've got to wait for the interest to spark in them, whatever it is, and you may be able to help with that in some things that you do, and the way you sort of portray the lifestyle of a gun enthusiast and showing that you're not some insane person,
hmm,
but you also have to allow them the time and the prerogative to approach it the way they want to approach it
yeah.
and the time they want to approach it.
Yeah, also ask yourself, are you into everything that she's into? I mean, you know, if you're like Lola's into shoes, I get it.
Yeah,
But I don't even like going to the mall with her. You know what I mean? And she
amen to
supports
that.
me a lot. She goes with me on stuff. And
Yeah, she
she's like,
does.
yeah, I'm going to the mall. I'm like, have fun.
Yeah,
You
sweet.
know, because I don't really look forward to that. So I think what's important, like what I think is a thing is that I'm not giving up guns. So a woman who would not allow, like, who would get in the way of me being a gun guy and having guns and all that, that would become an issue,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
that would be really difficult. That would be really
Yeah.
difficult, and that's, thank heaven that's not where I'm at. It's like my
Yeah.
wife supports what I do. She understands. I think that's the main thing. It's not like she's overly enthusiastic about what I do. I don't expect that from her,
Hmm.
but she understands that I've always kind of had something that I need to sort of do that's my own thing.
Yeah.
And right now it's guns, and right now it's YouTube.
Yeah.
Before that, it was like for many, many years it was music. You used to be into music, right?
Yeah, I still am. I mean, I'm not a musician. I can't play any instruments or read music, but I do enjoy making music electronically.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and I was like a producer and stuff like that.
yeah.
So, and I still am. I still make music.
Cool. So I
Yeah.
haven't touched that stuff in a long time, and every now and then I'll pick up a guitar or a bass guitar or something, and I'll kind of strum and play some songs that I used to play or used to know or whatever. But
That's
and
cool, man. I like that. That's romantic and sexy to be able to play the guitar. I wish I could.
that's how I got my wife,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. And you were in a band.
I
I
was
don't
in
know
a
if people know
band.
this. You're a rock star.
I was in a band. We were not super huge or popular or anything, but we were in a band. In fact, there was a story. I'll mention this real quick because I posted it to Facebook not too long ago. There's a guy named Corey Fox who ran a couple different clubs in Provo, Utah. And most recently it was called Velour. And Corey helped to launch the careers of a bunch of different bands from the Provo area. Like
Okay.
you've heard of Imagine Dragons, Neon Trees. Some of these,
Imagine Dragons. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So there's a couple others, I think, who got their start more or less with help from Corey. And so that was like really cool. But the other really cool thing about this story is that Corey, I never knew this about him, but I guess he had kidney disease for a lot of his life.
Okay.
And it was only up until very recently that he was like, he had to get a kidney transplant. And maybe he had some before. I think he had one before, but it was rejected. His body rejected it. And the guy who ended up giving him a kidney was, I think, from the Moth and the Flame is the name of the band, was like one of the guys in that band, one of these bands that went on to become famous that he helped get started by just playing at his little club in
Oh,
Provo.
cool. Yeah, that's
So
cool. So,
yeah,
so in Utah, that's like Provo is where is like that the epicenter of music.
some folks would say that for certain groups. I mean, it's like a kind of a college town, and a lot of kids there, a lot of kids that want to go do fun stuff on the weekends or in the evenings, and so going to see live bands is something that people will do. And so that's what I did at that age. Kind of college age. I was really interested in music for just a bunch of different reasons, but so I kind of like played a lot with instruments, kind of in high school and stuff. figured out some songs and stuff, and kind of like decided that I was going to be a bass player, but also wanted to write a lot of stuff. So it kind of worked out because the bass guitar is one of the, sort of like one of the key instruments in a rhythm section, which is, you know, your drums, your bass, your piano typically. And so writing songs with a bass guitar isn't a far-fetched thing to do. You know, you can write the whole structure of a song with a bass guitar. You can't really have all the flourishes and all the nuances that a guitar or a saxophone or, you know, horns or keyboards or whatever might have. But as far as building the structure of it, like a bass guitar and a drum set, you could pretty much create, and you know this from producing music.
Yeah, that's it, man. You know, that's what you need.
Song with bass and drums. And kind of create all the, you know, the choruses, the
melodies,
bridges, the melodies, the whatever. You can build it all. And so as a bass guitarist, I kind of figured that out and started kind of making all my own songs, writing them all just, you know, with no recording software, or I say software, but back when I was doing it, it wasn't about software at all. I had a little 4-track recorder. I think it was I want to say Tascam, but
probably.
It might have been something else, but I had a little 4-track recorder that would
either that or Casio. I don't know.
It wasn't a Casio. It might have been a Tascam, but it would only record 2 tracks at once, and then you could like switch the things to a different channel and then record to the next 2 tracks.
Layer over that.
You could layer over that, and would do it to tape decks. So that was the cool thing. Is like you just buy your little cassette tapes and you could put that in there and record on 4 tracks on that. And so I used that for a lot of songwriting back in the day, and used that in a bass guitar, drum machine, and then I did like I don't know, throw some other instruments in there eventually. But so yeah, that's kind of how I got started doing music. And then eventually, of course, I was like, well, I don't want to just record some stuff. It'd be cool if I could find some people to play with. And so started reaching out to people, found some guys, and put some bands together. It was like, you know, one band here and then another band there and then another band there, and one would last for a little while, or we might change names, or I might jump from this one to that one or whatever. But did that for at least 5 years, maybe 6, and that was my thing, man. It was all music, and I still don't consider myself a good musician at all. How does it feel when you think about it? Is it like the good old days? Or in a way it is, but it also, like, when I have to curb my enthusiasm, to steal a term from Larry David. From Larry. Yeah, I had to curb my. He's coming back, so you might get sued for that. I don't know if you heard about this, but they're coming back with Curb Your Enthusiasm. Cool. Yeah. I love that show. I have to like slow it down when I start thinking about that stuff, because I will get all the way in. I'll go all the way back into it if I give myself room to do it. And that's no good, man. That takes up so much of my time. And it's like, I couldn't possibly be a good dad and also do everything I want to do in music. And also, provide for the kids, provide for the family and stuff. So, the instruments are still there, and I can still do some recording here and there if I want to, but I definitely don't have time for it. So yeah, I think about it. Yeah, I do kind of think about it like it's the good old days, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I got to back off. Like I'll listen to some of my old recordings and I'll be like, no. I got to turn that off and not visit it. Well, here's the good news. Here's the good news, man. All right. The age of these old ass rockers today, at least you're never too old. So in the future, you could still do this. Okay, when the kids are all grown, You know what? That could be true. I actually told that to an old a guy that I played in a band with. He was a drummer, and he said, "Oh yeah, I sold the drum set. I don't do that anymore. I don't have time for that anymore, and so I'm not a drummer anymore." I'm like, "No, dude, you're still a drummer. Yeah. You're just not a drummer right now." Yeah, I bet you he's still beating out. He's still like tapping out beats with his hands and all that. Oh, no doubt. I mean, his desk job, whatever he does every day. I'm sure you're absolutely right about that. Yeah, because you'll never get rid of those demons if you're truly artistic. Those things live in you. It's exactly true. It's exactly true. Let me hit it up with some questions that's going on in here. Let me start here. How do I begin to buy knives, or price range for beginners buying knives? That's one question. What do you say to that? Like, what's the price range? What kind of stuff should you look at? I guess it really depends on, I would say tie that to your value level of other things. Like if you look at guns and you're like, well, I only want to spend, you know, $300 on my handgun, or I only want to spend $600 on my AR-15, or whatever it is. You know, if this is you and you're like, that's, you know, I don't want to spend a lot of money on that stuff, then don't spend more than like $40 on a knife, because you probably, I would say that it's probably more in line with what you're willing to spend and happy to have. And that in mind, maybe I'll throw one out here for you. Here's a good sub $40 knife that
also you can, I mean, you know, you can lose knives a lot easier than you can lose guns. So I've lost a few.
That is definitely true. So, you know, find a way to make sure that you don't lose your knives or buy cheap ones. This is the Kershaw. I can't believe I'm not thinking of the name of it right now. But it's model number.
Don't ask me, man.
1812, and I reviewed this early this year.
I like the gray color. It looks good. That urban gray. Yeah,
the name is escaping me, dude. I cannot believe I can't.
Somebody out there will tell you. They'll be like, "I can't believe you, late Boy Scouts."
I know,
but it happens. You're still transitioning from talking about rock and roll.
That's true. Model 1812 from Kershaw, and this one is really affordable. It's USA made. It's like $40 or less, and super nice, fun to carry. I put it right up there with the Kershaw Leak, which is a Ken Onion blade, and this one is a nicer version with the carbon fiber and what is it? CPM 154 steel, I think. Also USA made, but in the $80 or $90 range, if I remember right. So if you're looking for something on the kind of on the low end, you don't want to spend a ton of money, I think starting off with some nice USA made Kershaws, that's kind of what I would recommend you look at first. But there are lots of other ones. CRKT makes a lot of really good ones. Here's one. This is the Pillar from CRKT. It's a much smaller knife. You look at how that kind of fits in my hand. It's kind of a small knife, but it feels great in the hand and it cuts real nice. And so this one's still in queue for review, so stick around if you want to see it. So CRKT, Kershaw, those are some good brands to look at if you want to save some money but have something that's really nice looking and feels nice as you're playing with it and using it, and also is pretty well put together. Sometimes they're USA made in the case of Kershaw. In many cases, they've got a lot of Chinese made ones as well. So if you're not opposed to that and we would rather spend like $20 or $25, there's a ton of Chinese made Kershaws. A lot of the CRKT ones are Chinese made, but the design quality, in my opinion, is better than most of the Kershaws you're going to find. And they're more like, they're more designer knives, because a lot of, high-end custom designers work with CRKT. They use a lot of great designers.
So Ken what Onion, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ken Onion and a ton of other really great designers are very loyal to CRKT because they just treat their designers well. So as far as like good-looking designs that are, but not necessarily USA made, that are affordable, CRKT is a good way to go for that, and Kershaw also for some other stuff.
Okay, so very cool. So what happens like if you want to go into the high end, and then here's with that question, someone wants to know like, how do you tell what's a good blade, and explain like the differences and things like that of how you would know from holding one and telling that it's a good blade, and how would you tell that it's a bad blade?
Okay, so there's some things you could see that just visually would tell you that it's a good blade or a bad blade, or maybe that the QC on it, quality control, is good or not so good. Centering is one of those things. This is the Paramilitary 3 or Para 3. The centering on it is, I think, about perfect. It's pretty good. The steel on it and like the fit and finish on the blade itself and how well it's sort of ground and polished, and the evenness of the actual blade, the edge itself, that gives you some good signs of quality right there. And also sort of the way that it's constructed, how well is it put together, how are the pillars looking, and all that kind of stuff. How good is the pocket clip? How good is the lock on it? That's a compression lock, so you press down on the back, on the spine right there. This is like the one you have, but it's a smaller version of it. These are signs that kind of give you, some clues about the quality of the knife. So it comes down to sort of, there are a lot of different steel types that also give you clues. Like this one, for instance, is S30V. And so that one, you know, if you find something that's S30V, more often than not, it's a pretty good knife, because a maker is not going to put a really nice steel into a crappy knife. Generally.
Okay, so S30V, that's good steel.
S30V is a really good steel. There's a VG10 is a pretty good steel. Spyderco does a lot of VG10. I think I might have one in here. No, not handy. But S35 VN is also real good. Let's see, there's the Southern Grind. I want to say that's the Spider Monkey. And I think that's S35 VN. Real nice with carbon fiber and everything.
Yeah.
So, and those one, but you'll spend a lot more money on some of those higher end blades. And there's the Native, Spyderco Native, and S35 VN also. So you'll spend a lot more money on nicer steels, but you'll generally have a much nicer knife too. One of the reasons when I looked at Spyderco initially, and I looked at you know, sort of the plasticky handles on them, and I was like, man, that's got to be a crappy knife. Look at that plastic handle on there. You know, because I associated that with some of the like gas station knives I'd seen.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That follow kind of similar patterns and stuff. But really, the deal was that those sort of swap meet gas station knives were more or less trying to imitate what Spyderco and some of the higher end knife companies had already done. And so, because they had done so well, other people were trying to copy that. And so,
yeah, because that doesn't look too bad to me. The texturing of that looks good. But
oh, it's nice texturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let me log it on there.
Yeah, when you see something that feels kind of plasticky in hand, you might automatically assume, oh, that can't be very nice because it's kind of got a kind of a plasticky feel to it. But that's not necessarily the case. In many cases, it's not plastic. It's a fiberglass reinforced nylon. And if you were to get one of these in hand and look at the mold lines on it and how crisp and clean everything is, and how they clearly got some really good QC standards on their knives, then you start to see, okay, I get why they're using this material, and it's not that it's cheap. They're doing it to the best that it can be done, and also it makes it lightweight and easy to carry, and so that's the reason why they're using that type of material.
Yeah. So if money was no object and you could buy any knife that you wanted to, what's the knife that you would get to carry with you, and why?
That's hard to say, but honestly, I would probably just get a lot more Microtech, Ultratech.
Yeah, there's a lot of those Microtechs are pretty popular with people.
Oh, they are, dude. They're super fun. And for me, when it comes to a knife or a gun or almost anything else, I think about there's definitely like a cool factor that goes into it. When I think about, does that look cool? Does it feel cool? Do I want to own it because of the coolness of it? But then I also think, is there some practicality to that? And so when I see some of these really high end, like the custom Microtechs that you'll find out there that are sort of like the maker's custom versions of it, that are very nice and have like this mirror polish to the blade or whatever, and like, you know, these exotic materials. I look at those and I'm like, man, that'd be real nice to own, but I probably would never take that out and never pocket it, never use it. I might just put it up on a shelf and leave it there and dust it every now and then, or put it in a glass case or something. And so practicality comes into it for me. And that's why I've never spent like a ton of money on a knife. Like this is right up there. This guy right here is right up there with
what's the price point of a good Microtech? I don't have one, so
okay.
Now I see I see that's the cool knife to get, and they do look cool. So
there are lots of different knives that Microtech makes. The Ultratechs and UTX 85 they're definitely my favorite of what they make. And the price point on this one, I want to say, is in the roughly around 200, maybe just over 200 for a UTX 85, but they're really hard to find because everybody wants them when they come out because they're a little bit more affordable than the Ultratech, a little bit smaller, very popular. So getting a hold of a UTX 85 is hard. And you know, but the price is okay. Then if you get into the Ultratechs, they're usually about maybe $40, $50 more than the 85s, maybe $60 more. It depends on what exactly you're getting with it. If you look up, I don't have it here on the table, but on my channel, I've got an Ultratech called I think in the video, I call it the Boba Fett knife or something like that.
Okay.
And this is when Microtech did a series of, and I think they're still doing them. They're kind of just moving the designs into different blade patterns and different blade shapes and maybe different lines of knives. But they did a bunch of stuff that was related to Star Wars. There wasn't like called Star Wars, it didn't have that name, but I don't think they could.
Right. Yeah, you gotta pay some serious money to Lucas or now Disney.
Right, exactly. So they did it patterned after like lightsabers and stuff. So the handles would be black and the blades would come out green or blue or whatever, which was just totally wicked,
Yeah.
And they had like a red one that was called what was the red one called? The SL for Sith Lord. And then there was like the one I bought was the BH for Bounty Hunter. And so it looks like the texture and like the engraving on the grip itself and the handle itself looks kind of like Boba Fett's armor,
Oh, okay.
So
That's pretty cool.
If you're remotely nerdy, those knives just call to you. And so
here's something.
That is one that I bought that is on the shelf and I never carried it.
You're not messing with it, right? Because that's like a collector's now. So so Chris Bolus says I would carry a Hattori Hanzo. So
well, of course.
And then followed a bunch of Kill Bill references.
Yeah, but the question is, could you fly on an airplane with it, like the bride did?
Yeah, I don't know. Is there like a automatic Hattori Hanzo? That would be badass and probably cost a couple $1 million.
Oh yeah.
So, so now on the other spectrum of that, here's what I wanted to talk to you about before I get to some other questions here. But can you talk about the Chinese knives? Because I think there were some comments I see in the chat about that. Like, a lot of big companies are making Chinese knives now. Like, what do you think about that? And how can you see the quality difference in Chinese knives? And if you can, what are the high end ones?
Oh, good point. Yeah, there are some companies that are actually based in China that are making their own designs now. So when you initially said that, I thought you meant like the Chinese knives that Kershaw puts out.
Yeah, I was talking about that as well, but
Okay.
but what eventually happens is that those companies start,
they start doing their own thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we're seeing. And I haven't really bought any of the brands that come out of China that are based in China. I haven't bought any of them yet, but they look really good. Like the designs are great and I hear good things about them. I picked up one from, who was it? I can't even think. There's been a bunch of different companies kind of springing up over the last few years, based in China again. And I picked up one of them at Blade HQ one time and looked at it, kind of inspected it. I felt like I was seeing some rust spots and some other things about it that I wasn't too keen on. The materials all looked good. The construction looked good otherwise, but I was like that, I'm not sure about the.
Yeah, eventually what's going to happen there is like what happened with the Japanese and a bunch of things where, now I think in the beginning we were looking at Japanese stuff like what, but now there's lots of things that come out of Japan that automatically that means quality.
Right. Well, that's
going to happen tomorrow with China, but eventually because they're the ones manufacturing stuff.
Yeah. Wasn't that the line in Back to the Future?
Yeah, I think so. That was in.
He was like talking about something made in Japan. He's like, "What do you mean? All the best stuff's made in Japan."
Yeah, exactly. So, or didn't Doc say in the future all the good stuff's made there or something like that, right?
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I think it was. He had his like headphones. Was it? I don't remember the scene exactly. But he was like, "Oh, here's the problem. It's made in Japan." And he's like, "What are you talking about? All the best stuff comes from Japan."
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a very good point. I think that. We're seeing it now. We're seeing companies like custom knife companies, or if not custom, then, very, higher end knife companies springing up in China that are producing really nice knives.
So like Chris B wants to meet me to ask you about the cold steel stuff made in Japan.
Cold steel stuff made in Japan.
Yeah. I didn't. They're doing some stuff in Japan now?
I'm trying to think if I own any cold steel stuff that's made in Japan. I have a Code 4 that's Taiwan. Honestly, I don't know if I have anything from.
That would probably be their higher end stuff, right? Yeah, I think at the SHOT Shows I've seen like they've got almost sword like stuff. Is that the stuff coming out of Japan? I haven't dug into that real deep, so I wouldn't know.
That could be, and I think you're right that they have certain certain blades that are being made in Japan, but I don't know which ones, to be honest.
Oh, okay, so you'd have to look into that.
I haven't been following Cold Steel as closely as I ought to.
Okay. So what about the other companies that are making knives in China? What are the good ones out of those, or is there a difference? You know, do the companies keep up with the QC and all that when they're being made in China?
Good question. So I'm not going to bag on Chinese Kershaws. I think they do okay. You know, the designs that come out of Kershaw that are sort of the cheap Chinese ones, they're still generally pretty good quality. They do keep up with QC pretty well, and you know, they're a little hit and miss on designs because they're a little more shotgun, you know, approach in that regard, where they just go for it. They just give a bunch of up and coming wannabe designers, I guess, I don't know, but they just kind of give them license to come up with whatever they want. And so, and you've seen it in my SHOT Show videos at the Kershaw booth. Sometimes it's just a giant pile of new knives from Kershaw. Like, I'm talking like 30 new SKUs. And so it's like, that's a lot of stuff. And some of them are good, some of them are not so great. So you got to kind of pick and choose and look at the weight, look at the material. Generally, the material is going to be like an FRN handle and a 8CR13 MOV steel, which is fine for everyday carry as long as you're not paying more than like $25 for it.
Okay.
Then
what's the best Kershaw in your mind? It's because, like, if someone just wanted to weed through this all, obviously you know a lot about it, but if someone didn't want to do that and they were like, okay, I want to get a Kershaw, which one should they go for that's attainable?
The Leak, probably just the Leak. USA made, good steels on it. Even this one right here is, again, the CPM 154, but
that's about how much?
This one's about $80, but that's because it's got carbon fiber and that upgraded steel. But the standard version of it, which has 14C28N steel and generally like either aluminum frame or either aluminum covers or else like a frame lock, that one is generally $45, $45. And as far as designs are concerned, for just dropping in your pocket or clip into your pocket and carrying around every day for just really general daily use stuff, that is one of their best designs. Ken Onion designed that, I don't know how many years ago, but they've sold probably 1 million of those knives, if not more.
Okay. So Chris says that if he was on camera right now, he would show his pride and joy Cold Steel. So I guess he's got a pretty badass one. I'm trying to find out from him so we can at least look it up and see. But it looks like, so tell us, Chris, what your Cold Steel is. And I'm guessing it's a Japanese one. So, you know, let us know about that and we will look into that. Okay, so let me hit up some stuff here. People want to know, well, who is this? Mike Bryant asks, how's the thug life in Utah? And then other people want to know if you grew up in Utah, if you were always in Utah.
Okay, thug life, Utah, man, it's popping. It's not popping.
No.
It's pretty chill, honestly. But let's see. No, I did not grow up all the way in Utah. So I moved here when I was about 12. My family moved here. Had a family of there was 8 kids in my family, and we moved here from Hawaii. So yeah, that's where we were. We were in Laie, Hawaii.
Okay, Hawaii. So how was that?
That was awesome. It was beautiful and totally different from Utah. Just the way things are there, the people there, it's just very laid back. It's very chill. And so moving to Utah is a very, very different environment. I mean, and one of the things about, you know, the sort of the names, just the people's names, you know what I mean? Like you grow up around all these Polynesian names, and that's what you're used to pronouncing and saying and talking the way you're talking. And then you come to Utah and you hear names that to you and me sound like everyday American names, but this just sounds like completely foreign. Like, what kind of a name is that, you know? Like, you know, George or Terry or Fred or whatever. It's like all this stuff. It's like, these are real people with these names. Like, people actually have those names.
Like Mini Kanawa Loa.
Yeah, exactly. That's
like
what
that. And I'm not trying to offend anyone in Hawaii. If I didn't get that right, hey, I am Polynesian, so I guess I have a little bit of license to offend.
There you go.
Yeah, I actually found that out, man. I did a genetic test, and I have some like I've got like 6% of my blood is Polynesian for some crazy reason.
Huh. Was it specific as to what set of islands?
I don't think so. I have to look at the report again, but it's in there. It probably has something to do with me being born in the Caribbean and you know, that general pirate blood.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty mixed up. Like I have Chinese, Indian, African, all kinds of different things.
Wow.
In my genetic makeup. So he says that it's hold on. He says, what is it? I think it's a. I just put a link in there. It's a fixed 6-inch. No, he says he has the folding 6-inch Senmai blade. I sent you a link of the fixed one, so you know. I guess
I saw that link pop up for a second, then it went away.
Yeah. It should be, if you click on the chat over on the left, there's like a chat personally between me and you. You could probably click on it and see that. So you can get a look at it. Yeah, it looks like a kind of like a samurai blade kind of thing, which is what I was thinking when when he was talking about it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so those are those are cool.
Yeah, the Sanmai. Those are nice because I think this is one of them, but you guys can correct in the comments if you want to, but I can't tell if that's one of the laminated ones or not, but a lot of the Sanmais you see are like laminated. So it's like one steel in the middle and then it's sandwiched with 2 other steels on the outside to give it kind of the hardness you want on the edge, but then the durability you want the blade to have for harder use.
Oh no, he said the blade is folded steel. Okay, it's the fixed inch, so it's the same one I sent to you. I was just misreading his message. So the blade is folded steel, the blade.
Okay.
So it's folded. Yeah, that's probably pretty nice. I mean, the price I see of this one here, I don't know if this is the exact one, because this is like about $224, the one that we see here. So I can't see here whether or not it's folded steel and all that. So probably not, because I'm assuming it would be a little bit more or a lot more expensive than that, right?
Yeah, probably. Well, I would guess so, but
yeah,
I'll take his word for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's $224. There's probably so many different ones. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So Chris, unless you send us a link, if you put a chat in the link and then we could all see it, then we could see to that specific one, but yeah, it's a pretty cool knife.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So let me see what other stuff that we have going on here. You want to hit up some news stuff real quick? I know we've been doing this for a while. You're probably getting real tired at this point.
We're about 2 hours in, man.
Yeah, man, we're 2 hours in here. Let me, let me just hit the William Shatner thing because we talked about that.
Okay.
You're interested in it. So I got this from Fox News. William Shatner, social justice warriors stand for inequality. So William Shatner angered his left-leaning fans after he complained about social justice warriors on Twitter. The Star Trek actor slammed today's social justice warriors for comparing themselves to 1960s social reform movement, and his fans weren't pleased. But it's true. I mean,
bless his heart.
Yeah,
honestly, thank goodness for somebody to stand up like that. That is, I mean, I 100% agree with them.
Yeah.
For these guys. Yeah, I mean,
I think what they're trying to say, like, I think people are really trying to, like, this modern day, what do we call it? Like snowflakes and the things that they're worried about. They're trying to compare that to what happened in the 50s and 60s with the equal rights movement in America. That's a completely different thing in my mind.
Yeah, in my mind as well.
Yeah,
I don't believe that the same challenges that folks had back then, and I wasn't there. I don't believe that those challenges are the same as what people are having today. And so for people to appropriate that and say, hey, what you experienced, that's what's going on here today in this tiny micro sense, and so we're going to take this microscopic version of what happened back then, and I'm going to explode it into this, magnify it into this massive thing. And now I'm going to cry and complain about how awful it is, when really it's this tiny microscopic thing that you can really just kind of like say, forget about it. I'll just ignore that. And that's more or less, in my opinion, kind of what folks are, what the lay of the land is right now. And it's kind of sickening, honestly.
Yeah, I think we're getting a lot of that because everyone, I think with social media, everyone's trying to get attention. And one of the quick ways to do it and, to blow up, I guess, is if the regular media picks up your thing. And so people are taking everything and magnifying it, or even just making up, just like imagining things. I'm not saying that there's not racism in existence today, because of course there is.
course.
You
Yeah,
know, and
everybody agrees with that. I mean, everybody knows that there are racist people out there, and there are people that are, bigoted and homophobic and all the other stuff.
right.
But is it as huge and as overblown as people are making it out to be, and as imminent a threat as it's being made out to be? And that's the key. It's like, no, I don't believe it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that like maybe I live in a sheltered position, or maybe I'm too busy with whatever to see any of this stuff happening, but I cannot
Well,
accept that it's as bad
yeah.
as it had been in the past.
Right. And I don't, I think that, I travel and travel with the family as well as by myself. I go around to different places. Like recently I think today, in the last couple of days, there's stuff in Missouri, in regards to like, people saying that Missouri is really racist and,
Okay. Yeah.
and going all the way back there. And we were just in Missouri. Now, granted, we were in a vacation part of Missouri, but I didn't see a lot of I did see black people, but I didn't see a lot of black people, obviously, in the mountains of Missouri and all that. But we didn't have any problems. We were out there and we were doing stuff as a family. I mean, it was, it's not like, I think the what is it? Is it the NAACP or one of these groups is like actually telling black people don't go to Missouri.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's a lot. I think that we're creating things where they don't exist.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, to say something like that, like stay away from this state because we found out about one little instance of one guy in a back alley that was bothering somebody else or whatever it is.
I think Missouri's also trying to change their like balance out their hiring practices, and trying to change the law in terms of there's in lots of places there's laws that are on the books that prevent the most qualified people from getting positions, right? There's
what do you call that again? The affirmative action? Is that
there's affirmative action laws and stuff like that. And I mean, do we really need those today? And in some cases, are those making things worse, right? I think in certain, like when it comes to, for example, to police officers, firefighters and things like that, these things are making it worse. We're not getting the most qualified people to do things. We're going in like by quotas. We got to hire so many women, so many men, so many people of this color, that color, and all that, instead of thinking about who's qualified. That's the way that we need to look at it. Like I said, I don't think that everything has been solved in America, but maybe people, if you went to other countries, you'd see a lot of what I'm talking about. I've lived in Africa, I've lived in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot worse things going on, and black people in America are not suffering like people of color around the world are suffering at all. As a matter of fact, there are black people in America that are doing very well. I'm not saying all of them, but there's also white people in America that are extremely suffering.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So we've got to figure out how to get over these things and not turn to that every time we're not getting our way and getting what we want, I think.
So one point about the sort of the affirmative action or the quotas or whatever, I think that in one sense, in regards to maybe a police force or something like that, I think that there is an argument to be made when you say that, the police force should maybe represent the demographics of the immediate area, and so if if there are X number percentage of white people, X number of black, X number of whatever, it would be nice for us to be able to say that the police force, the people that are sort of policing that population, are made up of the same people of that population.
Right. That would be nice.
I think that would be very nice if we could have that, but I think that we can only have that if we have the qualified people to do it, because that is number one. You've got to be qualified. You've got to be,
and then the people in that area have to be willing to do that, right? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you can say, well, we're just.
Where are you going to get these people from?
You can't coerce people into it. So you got to say,
you can't go to another state or another county and grab so let's say you have a black population somewhere, but the black people who live there don't want to be police officers for whatever reason. And so they're not applying en masse to do that. You can't go somewhere and like grab some other black people and say, okay, your asses have to go over here.
Because they have to be representing the community. And race is not necessarily the thing that makes you part of that community, right? It's like your background, your association with that area is what makes you part of that community, in my opinion. So it's like, you've got to be invested in your area and in your immediate neighborhoods and your town. And that is what has got to be what drives you to want to be part of that police force, for instance. And if that ends up being, I would love to see that being, you know, equally representative of the demographics of that immediate area, but not at the expense of bringing in people from somewhere else, and not at the expense of bringing in people that are unqualified.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I know it's a complicated subject, you know, and probably not something that we want to get in deep to now. It's getting real late. Before we wrap this up here, man, you have any projects coming up? Some cool guns you're going to do stuff with? You could show us?
Yeah, sure.
I know. I'll pull out something here too.
Yeah, M&P 45 Shield. That's brand new. Just got that.
Okay,
recently.
very cool. Yeah,
a good bit. This one right here is the Car S9. I don't know if anybody's seen the S9 line from Car, but I'm liking it so far. Actually, haven't even shot it. I just got it like last week or something for T&E, and that is going to be shot, and that's going to be demonstrated pretty soon. But so far, love the trigger pull on it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, and Steyr L9A1.
Now that's cool. I like Steyr.
Yeah, so I'm going to be shooting this a good bit more. And
so
what
that's
else?
the full-size Steyr, I'm taking it, right?
That's correct. Okay. That is the full size. Here's the commander size lightweight Ruger 1911, SR 1911.
Very nice.
Better than either of the 1911s you and I shot.
Okay. What's the break-in, Shane? Is there a break-in?
The break-in was 0 on this one. It's just been great since I got it. So
yeah.
More to come on that.
Yeah, those high-end 1911s tend to have some break-in time. So
that's I hate that.
Yeah.
Ruger SP101 with Badger grips.
Oh, that looks good. Nice and beefy.
This is the
I like the look of that actually.
I do too. It's the purple walnut they call it. But does that look purple to you?
No, but it does look walnutty.
Yeah. So they call it purple walnut, and it's super cool looking. It's like their matte finish one. I can't remember what they call it.
Yeah, that's a nice mix of wood and steel, because even the steel has a matte finish to it, brushed aluminum kind of. Brushed steel.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been shooting this a little bit. I'm going to be shooting it a lot more, get some videos out on that. So that's it for pistols. Lots of knives coming up, of course. And then for the rifles, well, this is a pistol. Technically a pistol, as it is right here. That's the Anderson, and this is kind of a custom build with the Elftmann trigger in it. I've got a video coming up on that.
Okay, very cool. Elftmann makes some high-end triggers.
Have you shot them?
Elftmann triggers, yes.
Yeah,
that's an adjustable, right?
If it is, I haven't tried adjusting it yet, but it is super nice. This is the match trigger. It is. I love it, dude. Freaking love that trigger on that gun. So there's that one coming up. And I'm going to talk more about the SRD 556, the can that I have on that. I'm going to talk more about the carbon fiber handguard from Brigand Arms, and going to do some hiking, some hunting with that to get a sense for how it does in the outdoors, put it through some practical use and kind of see how it holds up. Of course, we're going to put the Stag Arms 308, the Stag 10. I'm going to put this through the ringer, shoot that a lot. I've got a lot of rounds coming for that. And let's see. Lastly,
so you've already put a lot of rounds through it, you're saying, right?
No, I put just 2 rounds through it, but we're going to put a lot of rounds through it.
Okay, looking forward to seeing what you think about that.
Yeah, and then here's the FX9 from Freedom Ordnance and ClassicFirearms.com, and this is pretty much in the final configuration that I'm going to have it in. And this thing is a beauty. I just love it, man. I may actually Cerakote this at some point.
Okay.
That may be my first Cerakote project. I haven't done it. So
that's like a see-through Glock magazine on there?
Yeah, that's the ETS mag on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that getting last round bolt hold open?
Yes. There it is.
Okay. Is that do you find that to be consistent? Have you done a lot of shooting with it?
1,000 rounds.
Oh, okay. And it was consistent.
Consistent and perfectly reliable to my memory. So 1,000 rounds through that gun. The video is shot. I may get some supplemental footage for it at some point, but the final review video on that is coming up. And I'll just tell you this, man, it's thumbs up, 100% positive. Very lightweight, very fun, 9mm AR-15. Love it.
Sweet. Okay, because I know people are looking for something like that, but they want that last round bolt hold open, and it's not consistent across the different things that are out there right now.
I've seen that. I've seen that. And so, yeah, I've actually shot some other AR9 types. And of the ones I've tried, of the ones I've seen, this is the best yet. So I'm sure there's some other really good ones out there, but I love this one.
Okay, very cool. So now, you know, I want to share something with you. We've got a bunch of, you know, people want to know if we're still doing like regular, you know, quote unquote review videos. So, and we are, and we're working on stuff. We've got a lot of stuff that's shot and things that are in the line to be done. So now here's something, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but this is, let me lock it on here. This is the Thompson Center Encore. Now this is a pistol. Now here's the cool thing about this, man. These are modular.
What?
Yes, modular. So now what do I mean that it's modular? Basically, this is the gun right here. So this is another one. And this is basically the core of the gun. And what you can do is that there's lots of different, you can change calibers, and there's lots of different calibers and barrel lengths and stuff like that and stocks. So for example, I think this is a 308. So I'm not sure. I have to look closely, and it's kind of dark in here. But you can go from a pistol to a rifle. I think that's the way that you can legally do it. I think that's the way. I'm not 100% sure right now, but I think that's the way. You can't. I don't think you can go from rifle to pistol. But so for example, you know, we've got some different barrel lengths and stuff like that. So with stocks and all the different combinations that you can get, like, you know, there's all these different stocks. So there are people out there that are buying these Encores, and then you can change it. Now, obviously, it's like a single shot thing. You know, it breaks open. You know, so it's a really cool, like, kind of like survival thing that, you know, it's one round, breaks open, you put it in there. You can change it, go from one barrel to another, and change the rounds and all that. And then since it's kind of like, you know how the SIG P320, which I guess is going through some recall stuff right now, I think with one of the police departments. Yeah. If we had time, we would cover that, but probably another day we'll do it. So because this is basically your gun, you can put a different stock on here. You can put different barrel lengths and do all kinds of things. These, they're not cheap, you know, so. But they're very popular. There's some guys out there that really enjoy buying these and doing all the different combinations and building up things. So we're working on covering that. Now, what do you think about that?
That looks cool, man. That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, you know, we like anything that's like Lego, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Anything that's like Legos and modular.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're working on that.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's what we're coming out with. Okay, man, so before I go here, any things that you want to plug here in the end, places you want to tell people to go find you?
Oh, man. So facebook.com/TheLateBoyScout is where you can follow me on Facebook, and I post, you know, deals that I find up there sometimes. Some of those are affiliate deals, but I'll post that stuff up there as well as articles that I like. Instagram, of course. Instagram is at Late Boy Scout, not The Late Boy Scout, just Late Boy Scout is on Instagram.
Yeah.
Twitter at The Late Boy Scout, and then YouTube, of course, /The Late Boy Scout is where you'll find all my stuff. I don't know, man. I could probably say a lot of other things about a lot of other things, but
yeah. I say definitely subscribe to The Late Boy Scout if you haven't. He's working really hard, doing some really good reviews and stuff. He's the kind of, you know, the kind of guy that you would appreciate checking out his channel and you know, the information that he brings to you.
Thanks, man.
So that's what I would say. And I want to thank you for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, dude. And to anybody that, if I'm going to probably mirror this video on my channel to all the guys that are watching on my channel, do subscribe to Hank Strange and follow what he does. Very entertaining and very knowledgeable, and really enjoy chatting with him. So
thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's been, you know, you've been like, we've been friends for a while. So
yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's a good thing. All right. And I want to like remind people to share this. You know, we are putting this on iTunes. So definitely go check out iTunes. It's the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. So you can search for that, or Hank Strange on iTunes. And, you know, if you're watching this now, share it. Tell your friends about us that we're doing this stuff. We will be back tomorrow. I have no idea what's coming up tomorrow, but we will be back. I want to thank everyone that's watching and left all those comments. If you've got more questions and stuff, leave it on the video. I'm sure Shane will check it out. I'll try to answer stuff. And
Yeah,
I want to, yeah, thanks for that. And I want to thank the folks that sponsor us. That would be Safety Harbor Firearms, Rand CLP, Andrews Custom, and Big Daddy Guns. Big Daddy Guns. We're in the Big Daddy Guns studio. They actually put up like the nice backdrop for me and all that. They were working in here, and they give us, you know, the broadband and all that stuff that we're using here. We want to thank them, as well as the people who support us on Patreon. We're Patreon/Hank Strange. Do you have a Patreon, Scout?
I do have a Patreon. I don't really push it, but it is.
Okay, what is it?
It's probably just the Late Boy Scout.
Yeah, check out the Late Boy Scout and help support him as well, man.
Sure.
You know, he's working hard out there. I know he doesn't want to push it, but I did it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's on me. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Peace.
See you guys.